Next level, I get a feat or stat increase, and what else do I get? Oh, I get an extra 1d8 of fire damage. That's pretty cool. I'm really torn about going 19 levels of cleric or just 17 levels of cleric.
Debating taking that second level in fighter.
No. Later. Yeah, because I can get, if I go 3 levels of fighter, I can obviously get a archetype, which I haven't really looked into.
You also get that action surge.
Oh yeah, which I can actually use it for a spell. I can spell an attack, which is pretty cool. Oh man.
All right, I got a text from Ted saying that he's on his way. He's finishing goulash right now.
Ghoul.
Darn kids.
Let's see, what do I get for cleric 18? I get to do channel divinity 3 times the rest. Blah. Not that important. Do get that ability score improvement at 19 though. That's kind of important. Oh, I get in destroy undead at 8.
All right. Well, who would like to give a recap of what happened last time? There was a few things that happened. Some of them more clear than others.
There was a lot that happened. There was like a lot that happened. Oh my god. Where do we even begin?
Well, we were starting off with Nari having this shadowy arm wrapped around her throat.
Thanks, Agramar. Nari's gonna have a really deep discussion with you here in this episode, just so you know.
Oh, please bring it.
Which will be good character development.
Let's talk a little bit about gods and devil powers.
Oh, we will. You don't even know. You don't even know. Okay. Okay. So we left off. Originally, Nari was trapped with a hand trying to kill her. My child hears me talking. This is never good. Hey, hi. Okay, so Nari was trapped by this magical hand trying to strangle her, and then they set off all the traps in this room, and they're like, oh wow, that hand's really bad, and through battling morals, Agramar's like, here, do this, and he slams the axe that he originally pulled from the arm back into its rightful place, holding the arm down, and we're like, well, that really sucked. And so we leave the room, and we hear the sound of gushing water, and we're like, man, that doesn't sound good. You know, that sounds like it's taking time bomb. Time to figure out what we need to get out of here. And so Agamar and Rafal, I can't remember exactly which one did the spell, using the magical abilities, are like, the weapon is that way. And we're like, that way we go then. And so we go that way. But wait first, I need my rope. And so then we go that way. And we get to this room with all these magical sigils on the floor that we can't really make out. And then there's a whole bunch of stone statued people. And we're like, man, this room looks really fucking trapped. That can't be good. And so there's this huge ice sarcophagus in the middle. And we're like, let's open it. That sounds like a really good idea. And so we slowly begin the process. We were heating metal, and there was something else happening to help melt the ice at the same time, but I can't remember what.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. That. I was like, there was something. And so it was slowly melting it, and then all the ice melts away, and we're like, fuck yeah, open it. Nari's like, yeah, we're going to open it. So we open it, and she's like, fuck, this is a really bad idea. Because she just got hit in the face like 6 times super hard. And was like, okay, next, I don't want to play this game anymore. And this monstrous snake tail being, don't touch my nose, please. Monstrous snake tail being, these are my sticky notes, you can't have them. Take my phone. I was like, I'm gonna kill you all. And he has these swords that light up and these fangs, and he's super terrifying. And like, we're like, going at it. Oh, we dispelled all the magical sigils in the room before we opened it, which is super important. Good to know. Where did that sticky note go? Anyways, so we are fighting this guy, and then he goes to run away, and we're like, no, not so fast. And we chase him, and then we kill him, and we steal all of his stuff. And it was really cool because he had a lot of stuff that we don't know about, but now we probably know about because it's been 2 weeks. But he had a lot of stuff. And then we're like, oh my god, we're still stuck underground and there's rushing water sounds and we need to get out of here. We're like, yeah, that's probably smart. And we're like, well, the only way to go is underwater, so time to swim. And we're all like, fuck. But Rafal, he's like, nah, I'm just going to walk on the water. And we're like, well, fuck you, we're going to swim. And so we all start swimming, and we're tied to Agramar, which little did we know would save our lives in the following room. So we rushed through all these different rooms. First, we had to go through the dirt way that we went, and then down the dip, and then we had opened the door into the ice snake room, and those gongs were still going off, which really sucked ass, but we made it through. We opened the door, and water started rushing in, and then we had to run up all the steps, and then we did the Pirates of the Caribbean barrel underneath the boat type shenanigans, and we got out alive. Somehow, all of us made it out alive. Which is
reverse sledding on the ceiling.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Ooh. Yeah, here, we're going to put these in the hole.
Yeah, we did a Zelda slide up the ceiling.
Little Ninja Turtle hang 10.
Yeah.
Hey, that was awesome, and you all know it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Great.
That's why I'm making sure that it's pointed out in the recap.
I love doing that. I always come up with some way to make mobility just my bitch.
Right?
And then we escaped and we
And we found
Yeah, you guys had to
Shared
kill
our
the rest, but I didn't get a
didn't
chance
we?
to watch the
there was
last
some
20 minutes.
scholar dude that was waiting for us when we got out of the statue and told us that the professor or a professor would like to see us. We said sure. that
Professor
sounds great."
Barnaby.
Barnaby, yeah.
He was
and then we said,
incredible.
Meet us at the inn, and we went back to the inn and rested, I guess.
He was incredibly cold about a dead body that was found in ice. Ha 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 ha.
He kept his cool.
Ugh, jeez.
Yeah. He was on thin ice, though, so he's barely skating by.
Speaking of barely, in the downtime present, I believe Heaven was going to start getting to work on those
Bear arms.
bear gauntlets.
Hell yeah. I've been looking forward to this for like months.
Well, as we are picking back up about the timeline that the inn is reopening, is going to be about the same time that those bear arms are finishing up. Thanks to the assistance of Agrimar and the newly acquired arrow crystal materials that he got from Vjorpir, they are going to have some additional properties to them as well, such as being able to use your dexterity modifier for them, rather than making it a purely strike-based weapon.
Yeah.
And they're light enough that you can swing twice. They are light weapons.
Rawr.
And so you can also
Awesome.
get sneak attack on them.
Ooh.
You mean
I wanna
they're
fight someone.
finesse weapons?
Yes.
Is sneak
Technically.
attack only with light weapons or finesse weapons?
Light weapons means you can dual wield finesse.
Light means you can use the bonus action with it, and then finesse means you can use your dex with it.
Correct. So we substituted the finesse property with the arrow crystal, which is a special mineral that can be, it's like super light.
Yeah. So you can make use of your sneak attack with these because of the magical properties.
Yeah, the attack must use a finesse or ranged weapon for sneak attack, so it's a finesse weapon,
Yep.
technically.
But you'll
Okay.
only get it on the one attack,
Mm-hmm.
but 2 chances to hit it.
Yes. That's the key.
That's
is
so
2
great.
chances of getting that sneak.
If you'd like to describe what Kevin's process was for crafting these polar pugilists for
Well, I am not a. Well, it was, I would assume, taking, like, really skinning this out, taking all the gunk that was in the bear paws. That was a lengthy process that was extremely, it was covered in blood a lot of the time. And then going over and really stretching out the hide, removing the claw so that way I'll have, better, I would say better, an
Dexterity.
easier to dexterity. Yeah, removing it. I'm so sorry. Removing it and really forming it into human hands, but still had the appearance of bare arms. And then once I fitted it into a human-looking form with five places to put my 5 fingers, I would put the claws on to where my hands were, so that way it's like a slash, boom, you're dead, type of thing. And then running around, I think, for a day or two saying, I'm going to hit you with my bare arms and killing you with my bare arms.
I'm sure Bickerstaff is pissed.
Yeah.
wreaking all sorts of havoc up and down the streets.
Yeah, and I think one or two people came up was like, "Hey, do you want to fight?"
At least hand out some flyers while you're out there.
Oh, Bickerstaff.
Going up to random people saying, "Do you want to fight?" and starting several fights, but never finish. I'm kidding. Ugh. I'm so excited about these bear arms, guys. Like, this is the best.
Was there anything else that Kevin wanted to accomplish in his downtime?
Her.
Her.
Or, yeah,
That's so
every
confusing.
time.
I know. Well, I just wanted it to be like a double weird thing. Like Giantess, she's a halfling, and Kevin, she's a woman. So
I love it. I think it's wonderful.
I made it up on the spot in a Bookman's in like 10 seconds. So
It's
Dig it.
it's wonderful.
Not particularly. I mean, I would assume that she'd pick some pockets, but nothing too grand.
So as
Wait.
far as the enchantment and thing on Agrimar's end, that wouldn't have taken very long at all. I mean, it's 2 actions in order to make that. So it would have been done in a day. At least on his end.
So what else was Agrimar doing with his downtime?
Agrimar was thankful that he survived that nonsensical trapped tomb. And he decided to go to the church and see if he could warn favor from one of the higher clerics. So he did some odd jobs around the church, fixing anything that might have been broken when, what's her face? Lady Butthead was there.
Annabelle.
Thank you. Or Corbin Reed hadn't done anything. He would have repaired some of the church, healed those who need healing, and just converse with the high clerics if they would have him.
Agrimar, go ahead and roll me a medicine check.
Certainly. That's a good start. Medicine. 14.
All right. So you spent some time returning to the church to do your best to help out every here and there with basically whatever sorts of tasks that they need assistance with. And on more than one occasion, people are coming in with various coughs and ailments, fevers, and the like, and you're able to side with the clerics and effectively apply some divine magics to root out some of these illnesses in the people. And the city is noticeably better for it. But on more than one occasion that you make your way to the Church of the Triforce, you find that Bale is also in the same building. As Bale, I believe there was something you were trying to do. And in speaking to some of the members of the church, Bale, you came to the conclusion that effectively somebody will be around.
Yeah, after the near death of getting out of that tomb, Bill started really getting depressed and thinking about his brother and his life choices. So he went to the Temple of the Three and offered his life service to save his brother and bring him back.
And so Bale also begins tagging along on some of these missions that Agrimar is being sent on. Being by Agrimar's side and watching how he heals these people and how he just converses with some of them in order to help alleviate some of their own inner struggles. And the two of them spend a large portion of this downtime effectively working together to help through the church. Was there anything Rafal was hoping to accomplish during this downtime?
Rafal is going to help Bickerstaff out with the opening of the inn. And the other thing he wanted to do is probably tag along with Nari to the library.
All right. And
Which I'm
Nari
assuming is what she's going to be doing.
spent many trips to the library with a variety of search topics.
Yeah. So if we're splitting off into, duos, then Rafal and Nari are going to have an episode.
It'll definitely be an entire episode. I have been thinking of so many questions.
The good cop
and
the bad cop.
Going to the library, Nari's returning with some of the questions that you've already tried to research, but she's spending her time thoroughly looking through some of the archives and just browsing through some of the more distant subjects that were only tangentially related. But she seemed to be researching a great deal about this knotted serpent, the world Hydra, the world serpent, Kronos, as well as this Thravosh and any sort of associations he might have had, any sorts of listings or names of the shamans who helped to create his prison or his tomb, any sort of records about that dwarf who was turned into the door that spoke to you guys, any sort of relationship between Thravosh and the shield bearer, and just kind of her questions just seem to be never ending, as she always seems to have at least another dozen ready each time you walk into the library.
Well, she's the perfect person to go with then. Rafal is going to specifically be looking about information on the... Is it Crimson Throne or Scarlet Throne?
The Crimson
Throne. He's going to be looking for stuff about the Crimson Throne, the Iron Maiden, I don't remember her name, and just like the curse and other kind of stuff like that.
See, that's something I didn't think about looking up. I was in a different world. We're gonna make good pair, two of us.
And by Iron Maiden, just double checking, you mean like her right-hand bodyguard?
Say that again?
Her right-hand bodyguard?
No, her... the queen that slept with the demons and the devils.
Queen, right?
All right.
What's her name? Why am I forgetting?
The Blood Queen. What is her?
None of us remember. I don't have her Nari.
It's in my backstory. I will find it. Hold on.
I've got so many notes here. I have no idea.
Queen Domina.
I just found it! The Mithril Queen!
Yes.
Yes, the Mithril Queen.
All right. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Or by other names known as the Infernal Queen.
All right. With advantage, because Nari's also at the library assisting.
All right. What am I doing? Investigation?
At advantage.
Yeah, I'm not great at that. 12.
You come to learn some basic facts. Some stuff you already knew, other stuff is just kind of refreshing your memory. Tales about how the Crimson Throne has been around for generations. It existed since the second monarch over this area of land, and it has been used by the rulers ever since. The Mithril Queen, you learn some information about her rule, about kind of how it was like a Depression, Dark Ages kind of a thing that ended relatively strong, kind of an Iron Curtain-like vice grip around the whole of the city, where everything was particularly under the control of the city's government, and effectively she was the one at the command of that. And so it was under her rule that the city went from this terrible ruin possibly to just a lost cause, and it began to thrive into the jewel that it has become today.
Is there any information on the curse of the Crimson Throne?
Let me open the notes.
Because that's the part that actually concerns Rafal.
The deal that was struck.
Well, if he's going to be king, that means he's going to have to deal with this curse eventually.
Yep.
So this infamous seat of power known as the Crimson Throne has sat rulers upon it for centuries. And in this time, the monarchy always seems to be at the brink of disaster. And many people and scholars don't view this position of the king or queen, whoever sits upon the Crimson Throne, to be a prize, but they view it much more like a curse, as no person who has ever sat the throne has died of old age. And as far as the records go, none has produced a living heir none has produced an heir while living.
That's weird. Dead heirs.
Is any of that connected to a library in the desert?
No connection that you can make with a 12, unfortunately.
Well, good thing that I rolled fantastically for the opening of the inn.
But Biggerstaff does spend roughly 80 gold coins in preparations for the opening of the inn, getting everything stocked back up, buying bed supplies, sheets, pillows, topping off the kegs that he had previously purchased, buying furniture, glasses, and the like. And before we effectively move over to the grand reopening of the inn at the completion of this 2 weeks of downtime, is there anything else anybody would like to do?
Yeah, I have a question. Have we made any contact with any of the Thieves Guild yet?
Yes.
Oh, is that the strike?
Yeah, we have.
That's
Reese
the,
is a very good friend of mine.
Boy.
Oh, okay. Have we come to him about the riddle? Maybe he knows anything. What is it?
We did ask him, but he didn't know off the top of his head. But maybe after asking a while later, he could possibly know.
Should we ask him again? I think we should.
Not again, no. Just the first time.
Okay, never mind then.
You can go ask him again. I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Oh, it's so far though. Yeah, I could go over and ask.
The village retreat is right next door. It's okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's go, adventure.
Hey Ryan, where is the church on the Grand City map? Is it that star building on the coast?
Yes.
Okay.
That star building.
Sweet.
So, Kevin, how would you like to track down the head of the Thieves Guild?
Mainly asking Nari. She seems to know more about this than I do.
Okay, I can go with you. I will take a few hours out of my very important research, and we will go and have a drink with Reese. He's probably missing me anyways. I will introduce you. You guys will get along really well. It will be really, really good. So let's go this way. We will go to the Bailish Retreat, and we will see if Reese is there. If he is there, then we will buy him whatever drink he is drinking, and we will sit down with him. And then I will introduce, hello, good friend. This is my friend Kevin, the giantess. And she wanted to speak with you about really important things. So I am going to sip on my drink and let them discuss.
The pleasure is all mine, Lady Kevin. Please, take a
Thank
seat. And what are you drinking?
The strongest mead you can have.
All right, then.
Because if there's one thing I know, it's to assert your dominance through drinking.
So he makes a gesture over towards the bartender, who begins moving about behind the bar to pour your own beverage. As Nari kind of steps away and leaves the two of you seated at this booth in the midst of this bar. It's still relatively populated in the early afternoon by a number of dock workers and a couple of off-duty guardsmen. But nobody seems to be paying particular attention to the two of you seated at this booth.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, dear, what is it you seek?
Well, what we seek is an answer to this riddle. It's been stumping us for quite a while, and, well, you're a man who's very learned, and we're wondering if you could possibly help us with anything. With this. Well,
I can certainly look into it, but I'm not so sure that my own resources are any further widespread than those of Nari's, as she has led me to believe.
well, any little thing helps. After all, this riddle has been stumping us, and any amount of help would benefit us greatly.
Taking note real quick, sorry, while they're talking, taking note of the people around them, because I know that Agrima got into a scuffle with those people regarding this exact one, so I'm kind of seeing if there's people paying attention closely to who he's talking with. Any particular, or like Golden Lotus looking type people in the bar.
Roll me a perception check.
A 20.
Looking around the room, you see towards the back, kind of nearby that bulletin board, there looks to be a couple of people that seem to be nursing their drinks and taking the occasional glance up towards Reese. And following their gaze, you can see underneath the table, his own hand is kind of making a gesture for them to stay at bay. So effectively, it looks as though he's not alone in this position. But you don't see anyone wearing the Golden Lotus.
Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on them and make sure like his hand position doesn't change, to give like any sort of different sort of warning. And if so, I'm gonna try and get Kevin out of there as quick as I can.
All right.
But just kind of, eyeballing it, pretending I'm pulling an Agrimar and looking at the job board,
Well, anyway, quickly forgot his name. The riddle is: fire is water, water is stone, stone is wind, wind is fire? Yes, fire is water, water is stone, stone is wind, wind is fire. Have you ever heard of a riddle like this, or has anyone come up to you about it besides us?
Besides you, no one that rings a bell. And you don't have any sort of context for this riddle?
We did find it in a tomb, right? Which tomb was it?
Oh yeah, it was just some really old thing. I don't even think it was a tomb. It was just some weird old writing on the wall or something. No big deal, really. We were just, it's just weird for us, especially me, to come across such an inscription that I can't figure out, which is why it's been bothering me. So, no big deal. She can kind of look at Kevin in the knowing look, like we don't give people too much information.
A lot of effort to investigate these graffiti markings and seeking out the Thieves Guild.
Well, you're just a really close friend of mine. I'm new to the city, and you're one of the only people I really know to talk to about much of anything, and you know everything that goes on in the city. So, I figured you maybe came across them.
You humble me, Nar.
She'll wink at them and sip on their drink.
But you've heard nothing of this.
Unfortunately, no. This riddle seems to be outside of my realm of expertise.
Well, and Kevin's going to take out that silver mirror and kind of slide it to him and just kind of say, well, if you hear any more information, come talk to us, and kind of wink and finger guns.
Ah, scrying mirror. Understood.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait,
What? What?
Why'd
Wait,
you hand
what?
him a mirror?
What?
He said, understood. I heard it clearly.
Oh, I
No,
thought
heard
he's.
A
scrying.
scrying mirror. Is that
what's,
not what this is?
what about the mirror? What?
Why'd you hand him a mirror?
You're handing me a mirror and telling me to contact you if I have any information.
No, this is
I would
just a
assume
regular.
this is the device with which to contact you.
Is this just a regular silver mirror? Because that's what I
Far as
thought
you
it
know.
was. Wait, what? Can I look at the mirror?
Wait, give that back. I changed my mind.
yeah. Hold on.
Panic,
The
panic,
guy sitting
panic.
opposite you is now giving you the most confused look on his face.
I thought it was just a regular silver mirror. Can I look
Sorry,
at it to
gonna
see what
pull
it
out
is?
one of the flyers for the Phoenix Feather in and scoot it over to him. And by the way, if you really need to contact us, I think, that she meant to give you this instead of her mirror. No big deal. Mistakes happen.
I thought it was just used as a payment. That's what I was going. Is this just a regular mirror?
Most people don't come here to pawn their goods.
It was like a bribe.
He doesn't really.
I understand now. But without context, these things lose much information here.
Okay.
When you're winking at me, handing me a mirror, telling me to contact you if I find anything, one is left to presume.
Well, boy, you would have looked pretty stupid yelling into this mirror. Because I think it's just a regular silver mirror. It was payment for information for, I don't know.
Well, if that's the case, I can accept the mirror, and I can contact you at this Phoenix Feather Inn if I find anything. But again, I can't make any promises.
All right, wait. Oh my God. No, I don't know
Big.
about this
Big
silver
girl,
mirror.
big.
Look, how about, can you keep your eyes and ears open around town,
Roll me a persuasion check
Oh,
to try and
no.
renege on the gift that you were about to bribe him with.
Oh, no.
Not bad. 14.
I suppose.
Oh, thank God. Quick.
Was
Okay,
there
well,
anything else?
nope. Nothing big. Yeah, wait, have you heard of anyone wearing what were the people who looked like who attacked Agramar? They had a white robe.
The golden
the
lotus.
Have you heard anything about movements of something called the Golden Lotus?
I've heard rumors spreading about town of some sort of red-skinned and purple-skinned celestials that seem to rocket these two individuals across the roadside.
What are their movements? Do you know what their intentions are, or are they just a complete mystery?
As far as an insight into their own minds, I'm afraid that is beyond me. I only know what the rumors whispered. They don't say much. I know
What
that they're
do they
not from
say?
around here, that they're from some foreign land, judging by the robes that they wear. I hadn't heard of them before their attack on Agramar, but they certainly made their presence public with that attack.
Well, thank you so much, Boyle. We'll be on our way.
It's Reese.
That's
His
definitely
name is
Reese.
Reese, damn it, I was looking at the wrong person. Reese.
The pleasure is all mine, darling. And perhaps you should stay off that drink just yet.
You can't tell me what to do.
Burn.
I am incredibly sober. You're the one who's drunk.
Oh no.
I'm completely.
It was a pleasure seeing you again, Reese. Until next time.
As always, Nari, till next time.
Arms locked with Heaven. Terrible name today, sorry.
I totally asserted my dominance by drinking. That me, did you see?
You can see that I'm definitely letting you take the first few steps, so yes, your dominance is definitely asserted. I am walking behind you all the way. You are very good at that.
Thank you. You're the best. You're the best person you could ever have.
Well,
She's like walking behind Kevin to like help her stand up straight.
High step down the road. Okay, there you go.
I'm so happy we're right around the corner from this place. It's so handy.
Yes, you're all powerful.
Agrimar will get with Rafal for a little bit. In between going to the church and helping Kevin. Rafal, I think I might be able to contact the three regarding pressing matters. Is there anything specifically that I should inquiry them? Anything pressing?
Not that I can think of. Let me think a little longer and harder about what to divination.
Yes.
I know how this spell works. I use it on my cleric like every session. Because it's only things that are going to happen in the next 7 days. So, no, I can't think of anything off the top. So, why am I not doing my voice? No, I cannot think of anything off the top of my head.
All right. Well, maybe I'll ask about the riddle and see if maybe we can, I don't know, get some kind of guidance on this.
Well, you can't depend on the gods for everything, Agrimar.
Agreed. But it seems like everywhere we turn, either someone's trying to kill us about it, or they don't know.
Is this anywhere Nari can hear the conversation?
I'm in the inn, so...
Guaranteed it's while we're cleaning and tidying stuff up and those kinds of things.
You know, Agrimar, there was some information I came across that I found a little bit interesting that may pique your interest as well regarding your gods. I don't know, I sought to dig a little deeper into it, so it's just kind of the beginning of something. But, it could be something if you are able to speak with these deities of yours, you could possibly ask them about.
Certainly attempt. Yeah, sure. What do you have?
Well, mostly it's the symbol I found, and I think it is really intriguing. It is the Triforce. However, there's an extra piece to it, and it is in a very, very ancient text. So it's like before it became like the really big popular religion, And it just speaks of, how... Which it's a little hard to translate exactly, but the gist of it is like these people, they have these gods, and like nowadays everyone speaks about how the three work together, but in the past it was like they were, which one was more powerful, like my god is better than your god, type of wars broke out over that kind of thing. So it's like weird that it changed, but there was this one specific symbol that I found really interesting. And I don't know if the DM wants to show you one, or I can try and doodle it and take a picture and send it.
You can try to doodle it, because my doodle is not up to par. Or you can even send the link to that picture you showed me.
I could try that. The one I sent you in Skype?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try and send that. 1 second. It's not perfect, but we'll see. 1 second. I have to find it again.
Mm-hmm.
As she starts describing this Triforce with these serpented knotted coils of this world serpent wrapped around the three.
Oh, okay. It's a Celtic knot with the Triforce in between.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
Which is a lot harder to find online than you'd think.
yeah.
Oh, I thought of something.
Oh, yes.
Nick has a question for Amanda.
Amanda, okay, well, I was about to say, Nari has questions for her
No,
ball
this is
too.
a question. This is a question from Nick to Amanda.
Okay.
Are you gonna give me the sword?
Oh, I totally didn't even think. God, I totally forgot I even had that still.
Nick hit.
I was gonna ask because I don't even know if we divvied up everything from the loot before, so I was like, that
We
was one of
divvied
my
up
did it
everything but
After
that
you
sword.
left,
right after.
I
Okay.
already added it to your character sheet.
Oh, perfect.
The
Thank
loot
you. I didn't
one.
even look yet because I have it written at the bottom that I need to be determined, but yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I can give you those swords. As long as you promise to let me use them when the time comes, or you don't get them.
I will not lose it. I swear.
Then I will give them to
Sweet. Okay.
you.
I have a magical sword now. Yeah.
But I did send it in Skype. If it made it there, I'm not sure. And it's a really iffy picture, but it's supposed to be like, the dragon's like twisting around and that's weird, but it's just a triangle. But it's a dragon, really. But it's a triangle. And so basically, what I'm wondering is if, that the middle piece, if it was, maybe absent for something. And then, leading up to this, I realized that the symbol for that is called the world serpent, which ironically enough, I heard in reference to Kronos. So maybe perhaps he has more to do with your gods than we even know of, So perhaps he was a part of them bigger picture. Maybe the people decided they didn't want 4 gods. Maybe they only wanted 3. So, if there's something to ask, I think that could possibly be part of it. I'd be interested in the answer at least.
Yeah, that's within my abilities, I believe. Well, in that case, let's see, what's the most pressing ones here?
What's the weather gonna be like tomorrow?
Yeah,
How's
let's spend
traffic
25
on the way to
gold on the
work?
weather. Yeah, that's very interesting. That still ties back into that the 3 moons with the broken moon thing. The question is, I don't know if the spell will actually work for that.
There's only one way to find out.
Divination isn't explicitly you speaking with your god about just any old thing.
Yeah.
The course of action that you're going to take in the next week.
That'd be more commune, which is not, it's a 5th level spell. But I can at least pray on these things and see if over the next couple of weeks that something comes up. So that'll be what my nightly devotions are about, is contemplation and seeing if something, if I get a feeling or a push in one direction or another on those in my dreams, since I don't have a mechanical way of.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, DM. No.
So, okay. I think that's all Agrimar has.
I have things to do, if that's okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay, well, first, this is probably before that conversation we just had. There's a little flippy floppy timey wimey going on. Nari has a beef to pick with Agrimar first before we're friends again.
Going back to when they were frenemies.
Yeah. No, this is before then. Okay,
So that same night, after the party had successfully exited from the tomb of the Fanged Betrayer and made it back to the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Nari is wet and cold, and her fur isn't fluffy anymore, and she's very upset. And she's just going to walk up to Agromar, and even though she's super weak right now, she's just going to smack him right on the kneecaps, probably the highest she can reach on him.
You could hit around the bell level if you wanted to.
I'm not that mean, but I will smack you where it hurts in my head.
The kneecaps.
The kneecaps. That's the worst place.
He'll never walk
Give
again.
him the balls.
I am a little upset with you right now because I didn't say we couldn't take the axe. I just wanted to wait until we had more information regarding it. And because you took it, the entire place is flooded, and all the information that we could have gained from there is washed away for God knows how long, or gods, or no gods, however long it is, for whoever knows. I'm just saying, if we ever enter a temple again and I tell you not to touch something, you do not touch it until I tell you it is okay to touch. Because I have never been so close to information regarding Kronos before, and now it is all washed away and I don't know what to do.
Your anger is completely warranted, and I am truly sorry. There was a lapse of judgment. I thought that... I didn't know, and that was not smart of me. I will do better next time. And as far as information being gone, no, it's as simple as going to an alchemist and making sure that we have a potion or a spell scroll of sorts to gain the ability to breathe underwater, and then we can go down there at any time we want.
Haven't thought that far yet. And I'm sorry for yelling at you. It's not who I like to be, but you've really upset me. She's gonna
look at her
take
eyes.
a big
Do her
breath.
eyes look like snake eyes for a moment?
They look what?
I look into your eyes. Do they look like snake eyes for a moment? In a flash of anger.
They are yellow slits, like cat eyes.
The cat eye slit real quick, and then they get back to the big
Doughy eyes.
cat eye, apologetically, like, oh, I really lost it there for a second. I apologize. But just future reference, I am okay for taking all items out of all temples, always. 99% of the time. Just let me figure out the details behind it first. Or you could end up getting choked out by a shadow hand, and it really sucks. And then you get possessed by a shadow hand, and it sucks even worse. And then you start clicking heads that make things happen, and that was pretty cool, but it was really bad at the same time. So, just keep that in mind for next time.
The whole time our little tails just switching back and forth.
Oh yeah, definitely. And her ears are going up and down and up and down.
Agromar gets down on a knee so that way he's at eye level with Nari. I understand completely. And if you allow me to make this request of you, don't open any more boxes. Allow someone who's stronger and can handle a hit more open boxes.
That is a very reasonable request. I will do my best to abide by it.
Because you had the same treasure lust as I did in that temple, or that tomb. So,
boom.
We need to, all of us need to take a step back and think things through before we do something.
I will not argue with you there. That is very wise words. We all need to take a step back and just breathe for a minute. That feels so much better, doesn't it?
I throw a big blanket over Nari so that way she warms up.
Oh, thank you.
Go warm up by the fire. Your fur will dry off soon.
Camera pans over to the fireplace and it returns back to the present.
Now I have questions for Rafal.
Yes, right here.
Yes, this is when we're at the library.
No, this is. We don't have to be at the library. This is more
Too late.
personal.
That's where we're walking to.
Okay, on the walk to the.
Should have
Because
said
I
that
have,
before
like-
you started walking to the library.
I have like 10 things to do in the library too, but this is more just for the walk. Mostly Nari's curiosity was piqued. So, and I'm sure you probably mentioned it a time or two, but I was just really curious, Rafal. You seem to have like a super, super huge grudge against dwarves.
Yeah. Yes, I guess you could say that. It's one way of putting it. Grudge. Sure.
I was just curious where that came from, like, why dwarves? Like, I'm cool because you were like, no, we're going to talk about Kronos, which brings me to another question here in a second. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, what happened to you to make you like hate them? Because you're like a really, level-headed guy, and I've never seen you be so rawr before.
It's okay. I don't mind answering your question because it has a very simple answer. They enslaved me for 10 years in the hellscape of Valeria. That's where I met Agrimar.
Why did they enslave you? Just because they could?
Because that's what the dwarves of Valeria do. Yes. They found me drifting in the ocean, pulled me onto a boat, and I was their slave ever since. 10 years later, Agrimar and I managed to escape and made our way back to MistHaven.
And that's where those people are trying to make a super highway through that other town too?
The very same.
A trade route.
Will there be slaves here too then? Like, I didn't even know like slavery like that was like a super big deal even. Like, and you and Agrimar, you're pretty big, so like how does like, the little bitty guys keep you guys for so long?
There's more of them than there were of us, and they had us very deep underground. It made escaping very difficult to do.
I have been trapped underground, and I can definitely understand how difficult it is to escape.
Well, the escape
I see your hate now. That makes sense. I was curious, and interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, my dislike for the dwarves is with good reason.
Very much so. Do you think they knew who you were and still enslaved you, or is it just like, oh, they just take whoever they feel like and they're
No, they
now?
didn't know who I was.
Main reason for that is because of the necklaces that all the slaves had to wear. Effectively prevented
News to
people
me.
from being able to speak.
Yeah.
It came up the last time we were talking about Duragar. I just think I didn't reveal this because it didn't come up in the conversation.
Yes, they have magical shackles that very difficult to escape from.
What did they have you do there?
Mostly manual labor because of, as you mentioned, Agrimar and I are fairly large. So lots of manual labor in the mines underneath Valeria. They had us clean things in the dangerous areas, construction, other things.
Like, were they digging for like something specific, or like just like building their own city?
I don't know a lot of the information. From what I gathered, they have certain projects that they need ore and stone for. And the way that the city is built is that they are building it out on top of this lake and then underneath it, right, Ryan?
Yeah. Like, their main city is built in the mountains, but there's a dam that connects these two mountains that helps to power everything. And a lot of the miners are sent into the lake to help dig up the silt that builds up around the dam and to help kind of fight off the monsters that are attacking there. And any sort of minerals, ores, or resources that are discovered are kind of just like, you point them out to whoever's in charge and they take them somewhere.
Either way, it was not pleasant.
Yeah, that does not sound fun, even in the slightest, even just for like a vacation or something. Yeah, no, I would not like to do that at all. I'm very sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. It
It
opened
made
my
you and
eyes to
Akram
what
are
is
very
important.
good people. You know, it could turn people into very bad people, but you two both came out very good from such a bad experience. So that's really cool.
Don't misunderstand. It definitely has its consequences. From the
Well, yeah,
whole
you
thing.
hate dwarves now, so there's that.
Sure.
The big picture things, you know.
But yes, it's been difficult adjusting to life as a free man again.
Well, I'm glad I met you in the cemetery that one day, because look how far we've come. We're going to libraries together now.
Well, yes, your curiosity into ancient history fascinates me. I am a bit of a scholar myself in those kinds of regards, but most of my experience is just with the books that I've read in the libraries.
That is where it starts, you know. Now we're already going on adventures. You see how easy it is to rub off this kind of lifestyle? It's like, why even go back to books? But here we are because our tomb is flooded. So back to the book.
If I didn't have a responsibility to this city, I might pursue that life.
Lucky for you, there's a lot in this city to discover. There's the Akaiish we don't know anything about. There's the druids. There's those gate keys they kept talking about. There's the stone dwarf. How did he get there? We don't know. The shield bearer. There's more to Dravash that we still have to uncover. There's the staff we have to find. There's those 7 parts of exit. The word that none of us can pronounce correctly. There's a lot to look into. Which reminds me, Nari technically has to ask you about Kronos, what the Stone Dwarf told you. But I already have it in my notes, but I'm making a point now to say that Nari's asking you what the Stone Dwarf told you about Kronos in the tombs.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
It was the serpent, the world serpent
That
part.
thing. Yes, he tells you that.
But I figured it was important that you told me so I could research it so I can get that information.
It's canon and happens right now, because I'm glad you said something.
Luckily, it happened on the way to the library.
Yeah, exactly. And this is before we had the conversation with Agramar. So it's all good. It's all good. It's just
a flashback episode. It's all good.
All sorts of flashbacks. 2 weeks, lots of time.
Flash forward, flashback. It's like, something gets said in the flash forward cleaning part, and then we flash back to it,
Yep.
Exactly. So, now that we are at the library, I have like 10 sticky notes on my computer that I'm ready to dive into. You can't give Nari 2 weeks and tell her, do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, she's going to live in a library. What can she do in 2 weeks at a library? This is probably more like 2 days, but we're going to go deep into these things. So first off, I know I sent Ryan all the questions, so I just am kind of going to barely hit the topics unless you need me to ask you all the questions all over again. How do you want me to do this?
We're going to assume that Nari did the research because there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And rather than telling you what I have told you already, repeating that, and then letting you know the stuff you didn't find, what you don't already know after our conversations, you didn't find at the library, but you did kind of ask a number of the librarians for materials and basically anything they could find about some of that stuff as well.
So I have to wait for more information. So we don't know if the shield bearer worked with Ravash or if they were somehow intertwined in history in any way.
Right. from your own research, you were unable to find anything about relationships between these entities.
And there was nothing about the gate keys?
Nothing about the gate stones, no.
And there was no reference to the names of the shamans/druids that helped build the prison?
The only mention that you are aware of was the mention from the stone-faced dwarf whenever you guys walked in.
Well, because I remember we talked a little bit about how the druids. Yeah. Okay. So that's
You listed
that's
these
what I
names.
need to write down. But like I got the type of the information, the magics and everything, and so I know like what kind of spells, like the bring back to life from stone spell, and then so I got that kind of. But that was, where did I get that from, the library too, or
the list of names is what the stone-faced dwarf told you guys whenever you first talked to him. He told you guys that like a prayer could be offered over those who have died here previously, including these individuals who helped him to build this place.
I'm gonna have to write all those down. Okay. And then there was no mention anywhere regarding some sort of magical staff.
It seems that just about all reference sources regarding the Ankh-Aesh just kind of fade out very shortly after this tomb was supposedly completed.
That would probably be in the Royal Library, if I had to guess.
There was a royal library?
Well, you know they got to keep all the secret stuff away from the public.
Hey, Rafal, are you king yet?
No,
Flash forward!
no, but I do have access to that library, I think. As a noble, I don't know.
Visit your mother.
She might be able to get you the right kind of papers to access the libraries of the Academy.
I still have so many unanswered questions.
Any other activities you want to take care of, Mary?
Oh, yeah, I did want to ask, can I learn a new language in these 2 weeks, or does it take longer than 2 weeks?
I think it takes like a year.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start studying it on the side, I guess.
250 days.
That's it? No. I have 14 days. What do I learn? No.
Essentially a campaign with no time skips. You can learn the language.
Right?
Basically, you got all the cuss words.
Yeah, right.
If you study every night during a long rest, you might have it done by the time you're level 20.
Or you could spend a wholesome feat to get 3 languages.
Oh, another question. Agamar, you did tell us about the sending stones you got, right?
Yes.
Can we play with them?
We have 1.
Exactly. Who has the other one? If we speak to it, do we get the response?
I'm not. I really don't want to do that. Because I don't know who's on the other line.
Well, it's just a speaking chord, so it's like, you know, what's the worst that could happen with words over a rock?
You could be trying to landline dial somebody who's on the internet right now. You'll get that terrible screeching sound in your ear.
It could be like, hey, maybe we could help each other out. Who is this? Let me help you. Type. We don't have to help them, but we could maybe figure out who it is. It was just a thought, you know, mull it over in your head. We'll have them for a while, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking over all my notes to see if there was any other questions I had.
I mean,
one I didn't ask you.
Show everyone sending stone, but I'm not gonna use it.
Not gonna let us play with it. Oh, you're stirring that room.
Well, actually, I could cast. Hold on.
Locate object. On the other half.
I could. If it's within 1,000 feet, that's not that great. But what's that stupid spell that I was thinking of? Augury. I can ritual cast Augury and see if it's a good idea to use it. But that'll be a group decision. I don't want us to hastily go into speaking into sending stones so we don't know where they go.
Yeah, that's fine. I figured you had them, so I would ask you. Oh, did I find any information regarding the Berserker Axe in the library? Or any mention of a...
That was another thing that you weren't able to find information on,
Okay.
but you did make an inquiry with the librarians.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just double checking to make sure, because I'm rereading my stuff. Because I have stuff that I put answers in already and other stuff I forgot. So, where was that? Oh, was I able to meditate during these 2 weeks and see if the green light in my dreams got any brighter or dimmer or anything like that? Any sort of form of communication, because in the tomb I heard words from him. I assume was him.
Roll me a religion check, Nari.
At 19?
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Nari, even after successfully making it out from the tomb of the Fanged Betrayer, it's about a week before those dreams finally stop repeating in your head, where you stop tumbling off of that cliffside down with your carriage into the depths of the river flowing below, and you're able to finally put off that image of that green light of something in the depths swimming for you. Unfortunately, however, you don't gain any sort of communication like you might have been hoping for. And on the eve of the reopening of the Phoenix Feather Inn, you find yourself drifting off in your bedroom once again and contemplating these same questions. Many of these questions that have still been left unanswered. Questions about this Berserker Axe, about what went on with Thravosh, and this list of all of these people who supposedly worked on this tomb and then were just erased from the textbooks. A whole lot of things have gone on in these areas, and you've discovered a lot of things that have happened that aren't written about anywhere or have been purposely omitted from historical texts. And these questions just start to rub you the wrong way. They're really grinding your gears when you finally succumb to sleep. When you find yourself once again drifting through that deep void with the faint specklings of all sorts of light all around you, trickling in from a very distant light source above the surface of the water, hundreds of feet above you. And you just feel yourself drifting in this empty void. And it is almost off-puttingly silent when you hear the faint voice echoing out somewhere in this darkness. "I'm sorry, Master. I failed you." And you just kind of find yourself stirring awake in a cold sweat. And you taste this salty brine on your lips. And sleep doesn't really come easy to you after that. But eventually you are able to fall back asleep into this less restful sleep. Before we find ourselves waking up on the day of the reopening of the Phoenix Feather Inn, all sorts of racket and clutter can already be heard echoing from downstairs, where Bickerstaff is in the midst of preparing a variety of pots and pans as he's stumbling around with breakfast. You can audibly hear him kind of cursing to himself. Oh, darn it! The chef was supposed to be here by now. I'm just going on and on. He's already ranting. Breakfast is going to throw everything off. If it's not ready, it's going to throw off the early lunch, which will be throwing off our happy hour later. Just kind of just rambling to himself as one by one the party finds themselves waking up and making their way downstairs to the main common room of the inn. How would you like to proceed?
Well, I really want to get that sending stone from Agramar now. But I will help clean the inn first. Help figure stuff rearrange and act like I'm not super curious about certain things. And in the off topic, I will bring up, where did I put it? I have a note. During my research, I forgot to tell you guys. I did find some stuff regarding the Golden Lotus. Not really much of anything, but I figured maybe you guys could get more out of it than I've been able to so far. Basically what it is there's the religious scripture from Averstein, and it associates the lotus with creation, afterlife, enlightenment, fertility, purity, and health. And there's all these different color lotuses, and the golden one is known or said to be associated with enlightenment, but others say it's actually a real flower that grows, but beyond normal perception. So there's that. I am trying to figure out exactly what it means, but while we clean the inn, maybe you guys can mull over that, and maybe I can steal the sending stone from Agramar if he's not paying attention.
You're literally like Pippin trying to take the Palantir.
I wasn't going to, and then I just had that dream, and I'm like, oh, now I need it.
You gonna try to steal it?
I mean, I could help.
Not
you steal
yet.
it.
I'm going to consider my options first. Only if you say we're not allowed to use it, then I'll try and steal it.
We don't have a Gandalf to save you.
We have a Rafal, even better.
Rafal's more like Aragorn. In fact, I think Rafal's very much like Aragorn now that I think
Very
about
much
it.
so, yeah. Very archetypical. Archetypical.
I mean, there's the backstory is very different, but yeah.
And as Nari is explaining this information she was able to discover about the Golden Lotus symbology, there's a rapping at the door.
I'll get it.
Is that being Rafal or that being Bickerstaff?
Rafal like looks out the window.
Rafal, peeking out the window, you see a face that I don't think you've seen before. Lucas, if you'd like to tell us what they see, who they see.
There is a 5.5 foot tall black lizard folk with orange plumes coming out of pirate
Nothing
hat,
normal.
wearing a captain's cloak.
Hey, Bickerstaff, what does that cook you hired look like?
Oh, she's a little bit shorter than you, and she has some orange highlights.
Rafal will open the door. Oh, good afternoon. Morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Phoenix Feather Inn. You must be the new chef. Then he holds his hand out to shake her hand.
Firm grasp. Hello, my name is Zephyr. It is a pleasure to meet you, and I'm actually the old cook. I just came back.
Oh, one of Bickerstaff's companions. Nice to meet you. My name is Rafal.
Hello, Rafal.
Well, come on in. I'll introduce you to the lot.
Oh, please. And as she's walking in, you notice that she doesn't wear her peg leg now. She is wearing a full set of boots. But with a slight...
We didn't know you had a peg leg.
Bickerstaff does.
Oh, okay.
She's a little heavy stepped on the left foot, and she looks to everyone. Says, "Hello, everyone. I am Zephyr. You can call me Cookie. I am the chef of the Phoenix Feather Inn."
Hello.
I am very excited to meet you, especially since it means we will not be having porridge every day anymore. But don't tell Bickerstaff.
It wasn't that bad.
It was the best porridge I've ever had, every single day.
Yeah, you're just saying that because I let you sleep here.
Well,
Anyway,
I will not.
this is Dari, Bale, Kevin the Giantess, and Agrimar.
Hello.
I know of Agrimar. Hello, big fellow. Hello. So, let me go make sure Bickerstaff didn't burn down my kitchen. And she takes her rucksack and hauls it back into the kitchen and throws on an apron, and breakfast will be right up. And
Did you hear that? We get breakfast too. I'm so excited.
As Zephyr makes her way back into the kitchen, she sees that her own small little shelf of herbs is almost overgrown at this point, and there looks to be a small little shrub walking and moving about the kitchen, doing its best to scrub some of the walls and floors where there's visible scuffs and markings, like boot prints.
I just in my head just pictured, in the first Star Trek movie, how Scotty has that little helper dude.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I just pictured in my head.
Get it?
She casts Speak with Plants. Hello there, little fellow. What are you doing here?
I work here. I help the elderly one. He's my father.
That Bickerstaff, meddling with plants. Okay, so are you just set to clean about?
Well, I'm here to help in whatever way I can.
Ah, okay. Well,
Do you need some assistance?
in fact, I do. I need you to prepare some herbs for me. Over there, I'll set you up a little station. And after that, just make sure that the pots are clean and scrubbed.
Okay.
So she sets up and she begins cooking a nice, simple. She's gonna start off breakfast with a nice banquet of poached eggs with butter and parsley on top, and then on the side she makes a nice wild rice, like a sweet wild rice, to go with the eggs, and some nice slabs of bacon.
And you guys begin smelling this incredible scent wafting out from the kitchen. It's significantly different than the porridge that has started to sink into the walls at this point, and it is mouth-watering, to say the least.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, Cookie.
It's good to be back, Bickerstaff. I have so much to tell you from the last it's It's been quite an adventure, to say the least. And in between cooking, she like holds up a bag and jingles it, and you hear what sound like bones clinking around. I got my foot back.
Oh, I see that.
Hopefully I can fix it later at some point.
Well,
I was gonna shoot you a weird glance at that one.
Agrimar out there is a cleric of sorts. I think he'd be the right person to help you with that.
Oh, well, I will have to speak with him later. But cooking needs to be done, and hopefully we have a good rush. I plan on making the Sea Angel's Blessing soup for lunch, so I gotta get that going.
All right. Well, I'll keep everything held down outside, and you keep busy.
Then don't forget about the pie eating contest.
Who says that?
The little shrub scrubbing dishes by the sink.
We never came to a consensus on that.
Well, between that or the chili.
I do have Sanji's recipe for Dragon's Breath chili.
I'll leave it up to you. Yeah, he's your problem now.
Thanks.
You better shape up, little shrub, or I'll prune you.
All right, listen here, lizard face. You're my problem now.
She just
As the
gives
two are
a
just
big
kind of
toothy
left
grin.
back into the kitchen.
Big toothy grin, and she just druid crafts some like nice little flowers on them. If you're gonna be around, at least be pleasant. Cool. So what's the rest of
My
the party doing?
teenagers grew up 150 years ago.
It's good to be back in town.
From outside, the sounds of the morning bustle about the city can start to be heard trickling in. The various merchants begin calling out their wares as they're traveling up and down the streets. Various news runners shouting out happenings throughout the city. A whole lot of mundane things happening, and it's a nice, refreshing change of pace for once. There doesn't seem to be any sort of immediate threat to the city, and everyone's a little more at ease, save for those currently in the midst of preparing for opening this large reception for the Phoenix Feather Inn. Once again, back in business. But as the day begins to trickle on, people start to make their way in through the doors. A larger number of them just kind of making their way in, looking about, ordering a drink or two, and then leaving. And as the soup is prepared and started to be effectively sold, more and more numbers begin to flood in as gossip about this place's cooking seems to be spreading relatively quick. And it's not too long before, I'd say it's about early afternoon before there's only standing room present inside of the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Rafal is schmoozing people, Bickerstaff's taking orders. You know, it's working well.
Hagerbar is staying out of the way. He's acting
In the
as
midst-
bouncer.
Branrith is playing a ditty back on the stage.
Zephyr has access to Skywrite, so she will
Do
ride
some
up in the sky
advertising.
above the Phoenix Feather Inn with a giant arrow pointing down that says "Eat at cookies."
I would just like to point out this is my establishment.
It's your whoa, that was a mix of
Yes.
Hagerbar and someone else.
He is literally the only one left from the original party.
Yes, it is Bickerstaff, but it is my kitchen. Besides, I can't write Phoenix Feather Inn. It's too many letters.
Oh, well, get a better spell.
The day continues on, and a number of activities begin just kind of sprouting out inside the room that is functioning as this kind of tavern hall. In one end, you can see a couple of individuals in the midst of an arm wrestling competition. Elsewhere, a group of shadier-looking individuals seems to be following Bale's lead, and the constant thunking of a dagger into wood can be heard as they are throwing these blades across the room into one of the posts nearby, again and again and again, much like darts without a dartboard. There's also talk about some sort of a honeyed ale that Bickerstaff has ordered for the drinking contest to take place, and some sort of activity known as Tabaxi's Reach that he's added into today's agenda. And he also seems to have prepared a number of magical items to help with the advertising and marketing, as well as to help draw people in and offer them prizes should any of these events or competitions be won. So as the day's activities drag on, everyone in this place seems to be having a lovely time. There's no fights breaking out, no hostilities being taken. And is there anything
Yeah,
you can
Agrimar is our doorman.
participate in or get started here on the first day of the Phoenix Feather Inn? Any sort of traditions you would like to get started on day one?
I hadn't planned that. Oh, give me a second. I'll think of something.
Bale will order a round of shots. And thank you, fine fellows, for keeping me alive. And
Well, that's a good toast as any, I'd say. Let's drink to that.
Yeah.
Here, here.
To not dying.
Too many more days of not dying.
Living is good.
Because dying is bad for the health.
Here, here.
And a number of glasses from behind your party begin to be raised up and joining in on this toast. To not dying! To living life!
Agrabah,
That's a good tradition.
Agrabah bellows his voice using his mace, and he says, "To the Order of the Phoenix."
Cheers!
There's an audible uproar as people join in on this toast, and applause begins to roar out, and cheers and jeers as competitions begin to take place. A couple of red-skinned half-orcs walk into the tavern space and look to kind of meander about the outskirts, kind of making their way over around towards that arm wrestling section of the tavern. Bale, the individuals who were playing the dagger game with you earlier, begin kind of drawing in closer. It looks as though their attention is waning, and one of them brings up the possibility of starting a game of five-finger fillet, if you're interested.
of course, put your money down. I'm game.
Certainly. Now, I believe since we are all guests here at your own establishment, I think you'll have the honor of placing the first wager. That is, unless you don't think you're quick enough.
How's 100 gold piece?
Well, most suitable. But let's see if this fool's gold is as good as his abilities. How do you want this to go down, then, Bale? One-on-one, or a group effort? Elimination or a 1 versus 1?
I'll take my new friend, Kevin, the giantess.
What's going on? Hello.
Kevin, you turn around after hearing your name mentioned across the hall.
Aha! Who dares call Kevin or challenge my friend? But what's going on,
Kevin,
guys?
you've been challenged at a game of 5-finger fillet. If you don't know the game, it's as simple as stabbing a dagger as quickly as you can between each of your fingers. And when you slip up, well, it'll be obvious.
Oh, okay.
And the pot goes to whoever's left not bleeding.
Cool. That sounds like a good game.
Perhaps we should put like some towels down first, yeah? These are new tables. We don't want them to be too stabbed. Maybe let's go get the cutting board from the kitchen. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the cutting board.
You hear Zephyr. You are not taking a cutting board from my kitchen for that foolish game.
Well, we
It's
can't have
okay,
the
Nari.
tables stabbed up.
These fools seem capable.
Stabbing my tables? Yes, we don't want stabbed tables. We need a plaque of wood or something.
I can fix anything that they break. Don't worry about it.
Bale, if I'm not mistaken, it seems your cat friend here doesn't sound so confident in your abilities.
Well,
she's
more
worried about you.
Me? You're the one challenging Kevin to this game.
I'm worried about the tables.
Oh, I'm just merely accepting. But I'm game. Let's go.
Did you want to compete, or did you just want to bet on Kevin to win?
No, Kevin's going to assist me.
Yeah.
There's no assisting.
So you want to be on a team with Kevin against like a team of 2 other people?
Yeah.
So like you want to put your hand down and have Kevin stabbing the table between your fingers, or vice versa?
Oh, I like that even better.
Well, to be fair,
Ted, do you understand what this game
My
is,
hand
right?
with the... Oh, yeah. I watched Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen people on the
So-
strip do it a couple of times.
This is how people lose fingers.
Yep.
No. I
How
got full
people
confidence
lose
in
sex
Kevin.
scores.
Well, to be perfectly frank, like, out of the 2 times I've tried to attack you,
You're not Frank, you're Kevin.
yeah, yeah, I forgot. I keep
just
forgetting. I've been
barely.
drinking a lot.
Oh, jeez.
Go!
Oh, my God. Alright. So you've got all your bad rolls out of the way. Kevin, you've got this.
Yeah, I totally
I'll put my
do.
hand down. And Kevin, show these commoners what they've come to.
Of course, yes.
I'm spreading the fingers extremely wide.
I just have this picture of Bale with his hand out on this table, Kevin standing on top of the table, like squatting down, like with her knife, like in between his fingers.
That's great. In the first stab, his finger falls off.
Oh God! Can you just imagine?
He's losing a finger.
So the man opposite you puts his own hand onto the table and spreads his fingers a little bit as the man next to him draws his dagger and looks Kevin in the eyes. Well, if you're ready, I think now's as good a time as any, as he plonks a large coin purse of 100 gold matching Bale's bet.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay. What do I roll?
Well, I believe the winner's going to be buying rounds for the loser. The least he can do to make up for the pain and suffering. But I think we should start with a set of opposed sleight of hand checks.
Oh no! Okay, 9 plus sleight of hand. Let's go.
Oh shit!
No! Oh no! Oh no!
Bale, the first couple of jabs that Kevin makes between your fingers is noticeably unnerving, to say the least, as she's having to stretch as far as she can to reach your outstretched arm, and you're not feeling
Can
the
I
most
make a
confident.
Can I make a fortitude check just so like
Not flinch.
not? Yeah, it's like
Go ahead and roll me
That'd be deception.
either a Constitution or a Dexterity save with a DC of 10. And if you fail on that, her next roll will be at disadvantage
Oh, no.
as the DC goes up as you guys start going faster and faster between the fingers.
I could help here, but I kind of want to see it fail.
you said a sleight of hand or a con. What was
So-
the check?
Ted, you're going to be rolling me a Constitution save or a Dexterity save.
Come on. I believe in you. Roll high.
22.
All right.
Okay.
So you're able to put on a brave face for this and kind of adjust your hand as Kevin is swinging this dagger down to help your own appendages from being stabbed. But the blades finish the first round across the fingers, make their way back, and start the second round a little bit faster. So, Kevin, another sleight of hand check. This time the DC is 15.
Okay. That didn't roll, did it? No, it didn't. Okay.
Oh
Oh my gosh, no!
Again and again and again and again, and taking the opportunity, she makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh! You heard Bale scream out as he's shifting and moving his fingers as best he can to keep up with Kevin. She slips at that last moment and just tears into his pinky finger. Kevin, if you'd like to roll me some damage with that dagger.
What do I roll again?
D4
D4 plus your dex.
So Bale, she slices into your hand for 7 points. Sorry, for...
I think it's more than that, actually. It's 4 plus her
9.
dex, which is plus 4, right?
No, it's
3. 3 on the dex.
3. Yeah.
Alright, so that's
So
exactly
for
right.
7 points of piercing damage, Bale. And that blood noticeably spurts out a little bit as the two men on the opposite side of the table just smirk. And they begin
I
reaching
take
for the 2 gold purses in the middle of the table.
Are we
Well,
finished?
Bill, at least you got the free
You
drink.
You bled, you lost.
Hold on.
I'll continue. I'll double it.
Double or nothing?
Yeah.
Double or nothing.
Nothing is interesting, but what about a permanent residency? A room of our very own here at your inn? Anytime
It's
we
not
have
mine to
need of it.
give. It's not mine to give. Double or nothing. My hand hasn't moved.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Who are these people Bill is playing this game with?
They look like the couple of guys that you saw nearby Reese at the Baylor's retreat just the other day.
These cronies.
There's some of these.
All right, there it is.
All right, but we're going to start even faster. And we're going to go once each. Effectively, one roll to determine who's the winner.
Agrimar is
If that's all right with you.
What hand is Kevin holding her blade in?
Right?
Agrimar will walk up and cast a healing word on Bale, and then put his hand on Kevin's shoulder and say, Maybe you should use your good hand. And he casts Enhance ability, giving her advantage on her dexterity check.
Nice.
All right.
And then
That
step
is
back
nice.
and watch.
Well, what do you say, miss? One more round, double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Let's go. Let's not hit fingers today.
And he's already starting to stab down towards his friend's fingers. So you gotta beat a 16.
Beatable. That's beatable with advantage. Come on.
Bale, I have to say this to you. I'm not really good at performing, so I hope
Roll
you
plus
can.
9 on this goddamn check. You have some confidence.
You've
I'm
got
not
this.
good.
Fucking right!
Yes! Yes!
Kevin is leaning into you and distracting you with these words. Her hand is already stabbing into the table at a breakneck pace.
Oh my god.
It's clear that she was putting on a show with her left hand for exactly this purpose.
Yes.
And the two gentlemen on the opposite side of the table just kind of stand up and walk out from the inn. Clearly upset that they've been had by this shark.
I'm going to stand up on the table. It's like,
The
you
word
don't
you're looking
know
for
me.
is
Remember
hustle.
this face.
They've been conned.
And nobody can see her because she's like just at eye level of everyone, so I pick her up a little bit.
Nah, she's standing on the table.
Yeah, I
That's
am
still not that
full of
tall.
confidence. Like, oh, you don't know me. Oh, what you gonna do? Cry to your mamas? Ooh, 200 coins less, right?
Now, just even.
I mean, you got
Broke
400
even.
gold total. 200 from Bale, 200 from those guys.
200 gold less. Ooh,
You're causing trouble.
hell yeah.
Kevin, you just earned yourself 200 gold for stabbing at Bale. How do you feel?
I mean, I gotta admit, in the first round, they had us going, but, you know, we came through in the end.
Love it. Oh,
Bell goes gets
that was
another
every
drink.
sports interview ever.
Bale, you heal up that 7 hit points that you took.
Oh my God,
Thank you.
that was great.
So Agrimar is going to be scanning for nefarious things in between this knife fight.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check, Agrimar.
Perception. 13.
13. You don't pick up on anything too nefarious. There's the occasional guy who looks as though he's enjoying one too many beverages and getting a little bit vocal, but no real problem makers so far.
Okay.
As the evening is starting to drag on, the sun is getting lower into the sky. It's just before sunset, like another hour or two, and it'll be lights out as far as the sun goes. And Cookie makes her way out from the kitchen with pies or chili for an eating competition.
Let's do pies.
She comes walking out with
I got this.
tray of pies at the ready, followed behind by this awakened shrub behind her, with balancing meticulously another tray with more pies. As she comes walking out, and she just starts lining them up on one of the tables. There look to be about 6 seats at this table, and she places a pie in front of each seat. Here.
Oh, Nari sits down quicker than she can twitch her tail. She's there.
Heckermar really wants to get in on this, but he's bodyguard. He's not allowed to participate.
I can be bodyguard. I'm intimidating, Agrimar. Like, I don't want to brag, but I mean, I'm pretty scary.
Kevin's tagging you in.
I pull up a tall stool and... Alright, watch the door. Let's show these
I am going
people
to
how
beat you
eat.
to the ground, Agrimar.
I'd like to see you try. And
Rafal
Agrimar...
will be the MC,
Agrimar drags his super heavy steel chair across. Sits on it.
In this corner, weighing in at a tight 280, Agrimar!
Agrimar.
And in this corner, the feline ferocity, weighing in at 120 pounds, Nari!
I will win this because I love pies more than
You
you
were actually
do.
right the first time, Nick. He weighs 330 pounds.
Tight
I don't even
280.
remember what Ari
Tight
weighs.
280.
Agrimar, sitting opposite you are one of those red-skinned half-orcs who walked in earlier.
Oh.
Who looks to be a little bit confused about what's going on and looks more like he's just sitting down to eat.
I kind of just lean over and whisper to him, "This is an eating contest. Just try to eat as fast as possible."
Nari's gonna look at them. Do you want some of this?
And now to introduce our other contestants. What is your name, good sir?
Horace.
Horace.
Anyone else getting in on this before those seats are filled up?
You got, what, 3 empty spots?
So I got 3 empty seats. If anyone wants them, speak now or forever hold your peace.
No other takers? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to do it.
I got this.
Rafal will
gonna.
sit down.
What kind of save is this, anyways?
God, I imagine.
Alright, so Nari, Agrimar, Horace, Rafal, a halfling fellow,
Ooh.
as well as a
What's
half
your
elf.
name, sir?
My name's Brinwy. I appreciate the music you've selected. It's quite a nice piece that this one's playing.
Yes. Branrith is fantastic, an old friend of Bickerstaff's.
Willow's daughter, you don't say.
Yes, the very same.
Ah, I used to fancy Willow's strings and things when I would go shopping as a young boy.
Well, you ready
Well.
to eat?
I suppose so. Best of luck to the rest of you, then. I think I've got 3 stomachs on each of you.
Agrimar,
Yes.
if I beat you at this, how about we do a little wager? I get those sending stones you got from the decoy Tremosh, yeah?
Interesting.
I'm sure I have something you may want too.
Your spear.
I was actually
Spear, not the
thinking
spear. Anything but the spear. Like this VLPR card, you rip it in half and the Senator appears. No.
How about your shield?
Ooh, shit. Shots fired.
Salads.
Maybe not, you know. I'm attached to this
Well,
spear.
if you don't think that you can handle, maybe you should step away from the table.
I do
Ooh.
have
Ooh.
this magical flask that I know you were super jealous I got.
This horn is just thumped down in the middle of the table by Bickerstaff. And here's our first prize to be offered up for the eating competition. A horn of arcane magical influence. The winner gets it. Now then, if all the contestants are ready, the first round will be a series of fruit pies. Cookie has spent all afternoon baking in the kitchen, stowed away, so I do hope everyone is able to enjoy. Now then, on the count of 3, can I get a Constitution saving throw from everyone involved? 1, 2, enjoy 3!
Oh, fuck!
As crumbs and bits of pie just go flying all across the table. Globs of jelly and sugar patches and crumbs falling everywhere, spattering everyone's faces. Nari's a little slower than everyone else and finds herself getting pretty full after this first pie is completed. Because these are full-size pies being placed in front of
I'm
everybody.
glad we didn't finish that bed, Agramar.
I told you.
I'm not done yet. I'm still in, I think.
Well, it seems everyone was able to enjoy their first. Cookie, bring out the second set of pies.
Coming
As
right
another
up.
6 pies are brought out and placed one in front of every person, as the shrub follows out and places a second pie in front of every person. And Cookie says, "Good luck. One of those is a meat pie." All right, then,
I'm much
everyone.
better with meat pies.
On the count of 3, the last one to finish both pies will be out. Anyone who vomits, I think, is, without saying, out as well. If we're all still in it, let's do this. Go away. Let's go. Whew. As both the halfling and that half-elf take a couple of more bites
Ah! Oh my god!
before politely
Mine's supposed
kind
to
of
be 3
pushing them
higher. I
away.
still get my aura. So, mine's 16. And my
That
first
will
one
be
was a
enough to make it.
27.
Yeah, I know. That's ridiculous.
So it looks like this table is going to be left with Rafal, Nari, Agramar, and the red-skinned orc, all seated at this table, as the other two look to be on the verge of vomiting before even touching the meat pie. Excuse me. As you guys finish these pies in front of you, a small dish is then placed in front of you. A small pie about the size of the palm of your hand, except for Agramar. It's noticeably smaller.
It's like the size of my thumb.
Cookie introduces this as a sort of an experiment, a seafood pie of various crustaceans and sea creatures, made with some of the local reef claws in order to reduce costs, but because it's a new thing she's trying out, she wanted to only make these small just in case.
Oh. Okay.
And
That
just
sounds
the
promising.
smell wafting off of them is... Those of you who have wandered about in the sewers of MistHaven, that smell that just gets stuck into those reef claws is very much infecting the space of this tavern the longer these sit here.
Crab
Well,
cakes.
if you're all ready, I think it's going to be between you 4. The first one to finish their pie without puking gets the Horn of Invisibility. Now then, if you're all ready, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
26.
18! I don't beat Rafal.
No.
Nari and this red-skinned half-orc are just going to town with these small pies, and they get large bites. Unfortunately, after
Wait,
taking
hold
these...
up. How? You got a 28?
How do you get a 28?
I got +3 from your aura.
You are not my ally right now, homie. You don't get it.
25 then. Sorry, natural 18.
Nari and his half-orc take large bites. Clearly a mistake for this one, as it slows them down significantly as they are trying to just fight down this sensation of their own gag reflexes. Agramar and Rafal just kind of locking eyes with one another as they are just doing their best to fight past this putrid taste that they are forcing into their mouths. And it is a close one.
Rafal purposely pulls back his aura from his companions at this very moment.
Rafal catches sight of this divine radiance emanating from him, and he holds back, focusing on that pie and putting everything he's got into finishing it off before Agramar. and we're talking maybe seconds before Agrimar is able to finish his own, Rafal clatters the aluminum pan back down to the table, empty.
Done!
And the room just erupts in cheers and applause and just goes wild. As Agrimar, you are left with this disgusting aftertaste in your mouth, but you are able to hold it down with a 25.
Rafal will smack you on the back and say, "We've had worse, right, buddy?"
Oh, yes. That was interesting.
I would not recommend this on the day-to-day menu.
I figured you'd love it. You're a cat.
I wouldn't advise blowing chunks through it now, but I suppose this trumpet of invisibility is yours, Rafal. All you have to do is continuously blow through the horn to activate its invisibility.
That's very
Huzzah!
nasty.
Now then, who's up for something to help wash down that terrible smell?
Drinks are on me!
Oh yeah, I definitely
Cheers
need a
goes
drink
up.
after that. But I don't know where I'll put it.
A goblet is placed in front of each of the 6 participants who took part in this on the house, as everyone just kind of starts to meander and mingle back to their own business for the time being. And in that back rear corner, those at the arm wrestling table are just starting to get a little rowdier as the drinks are flowing, and just starting to make a bit more noise as they're getting drunker as the night is continuing on. But
Zephyr made mojitos.
nice. The awakened shrub winds up lingering over by Bickerstaff rather than making its way back into the kitchen for a moment. And those watching can see Bickerstaff exchanging words with this thing, whose arms just begin kind of growing longer and longer in a very kind of like group fashion. Each one of these sticks grows to be about a 10-foot pole before it is broken off. And about a handful of these sticks are scooped up by Bickerstaff, who begins kind of walking towards the middle of the room once again and doing his best to push that table that the pie eating contest was taking place on out of the way, kind of making a clear space in the middle of the floor. He says, "Well then, Nari, this one was inspired by you. This one is a game I picked up called Tabaxi's Reach. Everyone who would like to take part, simply grab hold of one of these 10-foot poles, and we're going to test everyone's balance."
Oh, I got this. After eating those pies, I feel really grounded with myself. So yeah, I'm coming, and I will go grab one after burping a few times. Is everyone too scared to challenge the truth to Baxi? It is fine. I'm very intimidating.
The other one of those the other red-skinned half-orc steps up as well. Seeing as of how there are prizes to be won, this guy seems to be stepping into this with the knowledge that this is an actual competition. As Bale also steps up and grabs one of these 10-foot poles. Is anyone else in the party stepping up? As a couple of more individuals from the crowd start grabbing these poles.
Nah, we gotta give them a chance to win, otherwise they're gonna think it's rigged.
Yep.
All right.
Actually,
I'm going to win it.
while that's going on and people are drinking a lot, Agrimar will go to Rafal and say, maybe we can sell them rooms while they're drunk.
Excuse me. He like belches.
Yeah, we're both like...
Excuse me. Leave that to me.
I'm gonna go relieve Kevin from guard duty. Okay, I'm done.
All right. So Kevin is relieved from guard duty by Agrimar. Nari scoops up a 10-foot pole. Bale scoops up a 10-foot pole. This red-skinned half-orc scoops up one of these poles. 2 humans and one... Where did you go? One Strider also kind of joins into the mix. Well then, just these 6? All right, well, the rules are fairly straightforward. Everyone, as soon as the timer starts, is going to step up onto their 10-foot pole, climbing up it, and attempt to maintain your balance for as long as you can. Any questions?
I'm really glad I didn't have Agrimar try this because he would break it in a hot second.
We can do this. I probably will lose because I don't have very good textures, but I'm a cat. I'm a cat.
Well, if everyone's ready, I suppose we might as well get started. Oh, that's right. This competition's prize is going to be a ring of fire detection. And he pulls out this kind of glossy-looking ring. And he just kind of places it on the floor in the middle of this circle of the 6 people that are about to jump up on these sticks. Well, if everyone's ready, up and at 'em! And pulls almost as soon as people start jumping off the ground, start falling and clattering to the ground. As the drinks have been flowing and they seem to be taking their effect. Bickerstaff clearly spent some money on the good alcohol.
Is this a deck save?
This is an acrobatics check.
Oh, that's pretty good!
You slowly climb up the side of this pole, maintaining a near perfect balance as you do so, climbing up the edge of it in a way that seems just completely inhuman, before climbing all the way up to the top and balancing effortlessly. You're even making Bale look like he's having some difficulty with this.
It's okay, Bale. You don't have the talent I have. But you'll get there one day, I'm sure. She's going to like flick her tail at the top because she can. She's a badass for this round.
Same exact acrobatics that the cat does.
Bale will use sleight of hand to outdo Nari.
You can't. I got the natural.
Oh, on the
20.
next time he could definitely.
You gonna try and pull the boat out from under me?
He's gonna like bump you or something. I love it.
Yeah.
Hale, if you'd like, you can feel free to roll some sort of sleight of hand to try and throw her off balance. But it'll make both of you re-roll this check.
That's good.
So Nari and Bale, can I get you both to re-roll your acrobatics checks, please?
Oh, damn you! You did slightly better than me this time. But
Nari starts slipping down her pole, and there's an audible tisking coming from Bickerstaff as he's watching Bale reach out and just swiping at Nari's stick from underneath her. He says, "Mayhaps not mentioned in the rules, but poor sportsmanship should not be rewarded, Bale."
Nari will stick her tongue out at him.
Nari's sticking her tongue out and doing her best to balance, and Nari, facing towards Bale with your tongue out, you catch sight of the field marshal walking into the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Oh,
A couple of off-duty guards look to be joining her as they make their way in and find themselves at a comfortable table. As effectively things start to slow down, and Bickerstaff replaces that ring of fire detection between Nari and Bale. And he says, "Well, I suppose it's between the two of you then, because everyone else didn't stand a chance, it seems. And I think I now see why it's called Tabaxi's Reach.
Okay, Bill, me and you. We got this. I got this. You don't. Cheater, pumpkin eater. Natural 20 again!
Watch, Bale's gonna natural 20. Oh no!
Oh, I hate you. Oh, I hate
Because
you.
never win!
3. Oh.
Wow.
Bale slips, and he manages to land on the ground without toppling, but he still hits the ground.
All right, Belle's a shit. Does he like drag her down with her? With
You
him?
tell me? Is he going to
With a
kick the
natural
stick out from
20,
under her?
you
Once he's lost and she's won, yeah.
Yeah, of course he will.
He's a sore loser.
He's an asshole.
I could
That's
see
Bale
why
goes
Back in
over
the
and
tomb.
kicks the stick out from underneath Nari, who's perfectly balancing atop it and just making a show of it for the whole of the room. As everyone's just cheering her on to see how long she can make it. Bale kicks the stick out from under.
And with Nari's claws, she jumps up and like grabs the.
Doesn't matter, she's a cat, she'll land on her feet.
Doesn't I don't know to say like she catches a pillar or something.
Spider-Man did down the sides.
Well, greetings, Cassandra Creed. Welcome to the Phoenix Feather Inn. Anything I can get you? And you can hear him effectively taking her order, a little bit distracted from everything else going on to see to the field marshal, who looks to be off duty herself and just kind of here for a drink, it seems. Very much not looking at ease, though. She looks to be very much out of her element.
After Bickerstaff like takes her order, Rafal will go over and I'll take it from here, Bickerstaff.
Hello, Rafal.
Field Marshal.
A lovely establishment you have here.
Well, thank you. We've put a lot of time and work into it. And Bickerstaff's friend Cookie is back to be our cook. And it has definitely helped liven the atmosphere.
Is that
Between
so?
you and me, Bickerstaff isn't the best cook.
Well, I'm sure Cookie puts a lot of people to shame.
Have you tried the soup? It's amazing.
I've tried a number of her other meals. They've been enjoyable.
So, besides coming in to check out the establishment, you look like you had something on your mind.
Not particularly, just trying to be friendly and wishing good fortune and success upon this reopening of the Phoenix Feather Inn. It's been too many years since I've seen that door open for customers. It's nice, refreshing.
Well, we're glad to have you. You and your soldiers, men, guards, are always welcome.
I thank you, and I'm sure Liana Esmeralda would be proud to see what you've done with the place.
Indeed.
Anyways, I don't mean to hold you up much longer. Is Bale here?
Yes, I believe the contest just finished. Him and Nari were going at it there. Let me see if I can't find him.
Appreciated.
Zephyr slinks out of the kitchen, kind of staying low behind the bar, and then slides up a plate of sweet dumplings, and then slinks back into the kitchen.
Bale!
Yes, what is it?
The field marshal would like to have a word with you.
Why?
Didn't
I've
ask.
already settled my debt.
Didn't sound like it was something like that.
Okay.
Go be nice.
Leave the back door open.
Oh, you'll be fine.
So Bale will slink forward and head on a swivel.
Bill, as you make your way up to the field marshal, her eyes are already locked with yours as you are approaching. Coming in close, she keeps her voice to a quiet whisper so as to not be overheard by some of the nearby drinkers and patrons of the inn. Is there someplace more private we can speak? Out back or one of the rooms, perhaps?
Yeah, we can go to my brother's room. It's upstairs. We'll be fine there.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
As you lead the field marshal upstairs, she kind of excuses herself from her company and follows you up alone. Making your way into the lone room where Vale is still tucked into bed and in Yannick is tucked into bed and in a fitful dress. They look identical, so it's difficult to tell them apart sometimes. She closes the door after she enters, and she takes a more stern look in your direction. It's come to my understanding that you've been asking around the church for some sort of assistance for your brother.
Yes, I've not led a perfect life, and I wish to give anything I have for Yannick to return to his service.
That's almost exactly how it was described to me. You've made your pleas of desperation known. I'm afraid I found somebody who might be capable of providing your assistance, but I wanted to come and ask you personally if this was what you truly wanted.
I do. I've wanted to be my brother. I've watched him from afar. I'm not him, even though I want to be. He is a better elf. He's who the city needs. I want him to be what the city needs.
All right, then. And she kind of moves over towards the nightstand and begins scribbling on a parchment of paper. And she rips off this piece of paper, folds it up, and hands it over to you. And she says, "Then I expect that as soon as he's cured, his shift of duties will continue on the morrow. Should be relatively simple for his first shift back. I don't want to overstrain him, but I would very much like you to make it known to him that his absence has been noted on his record. I expect him to be working long shifts to make up for it. No slackers in the guard."
What kind of capitalist bullshit is that? He is sick and injured. Get some fucking hurt on the job kind of fucking pay. What is this?
This is the address where he is to report tomorrow. It should be relatively easy with the docks closed for the Summer's End Festival. But I want you to know, that had I known that this would have been his end result, I never would have sent him after Reed in the first place.
He'll be there. He'll be strong. And I promise you, saving your queen was just enough. That
I hope you realize what price you may be paying. But the man...
I think saving the queen is just price enough.
Devere says that should you wish to contact him about your brother's situation and fixing it, to present the brooch that your brother was given to the heavens above. He will find you.
I thank you, and I'll proceed.
Be careful, Bale. And she turns around and goes to leave the room. Leaving Bale alone in the room with his brother Yannick.
Bell won't waste any time. He'll scoop Yannick up and proceed to the temple.
You climbing out the window, or are you going to take him through our busy bar?
It's like
Busy
1 in the
bar.
morning, isn't it?
It's like sunset.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
not that way.
No, I'll just ride through.
Little
I'm
bit
sure
too much to drink.
everybody will make way. I can't imagine anybody, and God forbid anybody, get in the way.
Agrimar gets in the way.
Go ahead.
Is everything all right, Bale?
I found a way to heal my brother. Please move aside. If I see you again, it'll be on the good side.
How is the way to heal your brother, mind I ask? Because, you're leaving grand opening, which is great. You should be healed, but, can't wait a couple more hours till morning.
Agrimar
with
has
Nari,
seen
just-
him at the church. I understand,
Yeah.
Bale. It's fine, Nari. He'll be all right. Bale, if you need me, you know where to find me, okay?
Thank you, brother. I'll see you again soon.
Yes. I'll check in on you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Bell will get a cart.
Call a cab.
Carriage.
We need a
Or
wheel.
putting his brother in a wagon.
Call the
Just a-
wheel.
Wheelbarrow. So, Bale, the mic is yours. Describe this process. What's Bale doing?
All right. So as the wheel, and I assume we got Silver to take us away. We go up and see the High Master of the three in the temple.
So you make your way to the doors of the temple. And the priests who are there and present are happy to welcome you in, kind of after getting a little bit familiar with you in the past couple of weeks. And you're welcomed in, but they seem to have no idea what you're talking about. We sent word with the field marshal about contacting Severus Devere. She was told that, we were told that she would make contact with you as far as how to proceed.
Yes, she did, but I'm here to offer my life in service for my brother. If you could regain him, my life is yours.
Son, it is not a matter of devotion that concerns us, but simply a matter of ability.
Any ability that you need, I can provide. It is up to you if you can.
They literally can't cast the spell, Ted.
We can't cast the spell. The way that your spell can be cast to save your brother's soul from his current predicament has been bequeathed to you by the field marshal. The steps you must take next are of your own. It is a journey for you to make.
Oh, damn it. I did not catch on that. All right.
Effectively, to take the brooch of shielding that Yannick was given by Severus Devere, present that to the heavens and make your argument for why your brother's life should be saved.
Oh, the one of the, okay.
Yeah, when you passed him, he's the head of the Requisitors. Yannick met him, remember?
That's going to be a bitter pill. Okay.
Yeah, this is not the
That's
best
why
idea you've
everyone's
ever
been
had.
asking you if you're sure.
I mean, Bale doesn't know that, so
No, but still, any case. All right. So, Bell will retrieve the brooch and go to the Requisitors Council. I don't know if they have a building there.
No, you just
You
have to
don't
point
know,
it up
yeah.
to the sky. That's what they're saying. So show it to the heavens and then tell them why you want to save your brother. You just have to point the brooch up to the sky and then speak as to why and what you're willing to do to save your brother.
Very well.
Double.
The Temple of the Three that gave me the brooch, gave my brother the brooch. Please
It was the
hear and
Requisitors
listen.
that gave you the brooch.
Severus Devere gave him the brooch.
So they don't follow anything. They're
No,
just
they don't.
They are the
They're
Requisitors. They're the Rune Breakers, the Purple Knights.
They're the ones that tried to kill the 12-year-old Trinia.
I can't believe I'm going to preach to these guys. All right.
You don't have to. There are other ways.
Not my ass. Okay.
To sell your soul to the people who want to kill a 12-year-old girl. Basically.
God, this is worse now. Oh, okay. All right. So, Inquisitors, you saw light in my brother. You gave him this brooch. Please give him back to me in the full health. In return, I will give you my life, my skills, and I will serve you.
And as you say this, to the setting sun in the far distance, you were kind of left alone in the street for a moment over your brother's body as the sun sets. And you feel this cooling waft of wind. And this figure comes gliding down from the sky that you were just prostrating yourself before. And the elderly form of Severus Devere begins gliding into view. He's garbed in that same purple plate mail armor, and his own white hair is meticulously cut short. Very much cropped and purposeful. He begins descending from the sky and says, I see you got my message. You offer yourself in your entirety for the life of your brother. I hope that is not necessary.
Maybe not necessary, but I would believe my brother will fulfill my absence and his life goal.
Mayhaps so. And he kind of reaches into his cloak and he produces this blood red gemstone. One that you've seen before, the same stone that he produced in the Golden Market at the time of Trinia's execution. I have here something that is capable of curing the most vile of afflictions. to people. I want you to know that such a service does not come to every individual who would offer it, who would ask for it, who would wish it upon them. For artifacts such as this do come with great magics, but they also require great sacrifice. This is a heart stone, very rare in these parts of the world, but if you know where to look, you can find one. And he just kind of leans down and places this stone onto your brother's chest. And he just lightly crosses both of his arms over the top of it. And this faint red glow begins to emanate from this gemstone. Now, as for your price, you mentioned offering yourself to the fullest of your abilities. There is something I would ask you to do for me. The specifics of which can be discussed later, but I would ask you to enjoy this night with your brother while you have it. On the morrow, report to me at the High Bridge. I will meet you there, and we will discuss your mission further. And he kind of leans down and scoops up the gemstone from Yannick's hands. And he just begins to float upwards into the sky again. And he just kind of vanishes into the distance over the rooftops. And you're just left standing there over your brother's body, who slowly starts to stir and blinking himself awake. Yannick returns to the fullest of his capabilities on the street in front of his brother. What would Yannick like to do?
So as Yannick gathers his feet, he looks around because his last known memory is chasing that witch. Belle? What are you doing here? And Belle, like, I made a deal to bring you back, my brother. What are you talking about? I'll tell you later. Let's go back to the inn. You look tired. Fine. Where are the others? They're back at the inn. Let's go. And Belle uses city streets to weave them in and out. Back to the inn.
All right. And sometime later, as some of the festivities about the tavern are starting to die down as the late hour creeps in, people begin paying off their tabs and making their way out from the building.
Paul does the thing where he's like standing outside the front door, like shaking people's hands as they're leaving, telling them to come back.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
5% off your next stay.
If somebody's like too drunk, he's like trying to, fill the 10 rooms that they have.
Call a carriage for them.
Those
they
guys
can't make it home. Yeah. Rafal, as you are kind of helping these people in and out from the inn, that same individual who is waiting for you guys on a bench approaches. Greetings, Sir Rafal.
Wait, hold on. You're going to have to refresh my memory. Individual
Preston Brentwood.
Bench.
Yeah, when we came out of the statue, there was a little scholarly kid waiting.
Oh, the scholar guy.
You told me
guy
to
made fun
stop
of-
by the Phoenix Feather Inn.
Oh, yes. Yes. Good to see you again, Preston.
Yes. Is Nari around?
Yes, she's inside. Why, did you find some good information?
We heard that she's been poking around a few nooks and coming up empty. We were hoping to fill in some of the questions she might still have.
Oh, well, come on in. She'll be very excited to talk to you.
Oh, very excited, yes.
Now, go easy on her, though. I don't know how sober she is.
Luckily, I've eaten a lot of pie.
Perhaps we can discuss it over a small game of dragon chess, then?
There you go, and some coffee. Perfect. Come on in.
Thank you. Lovely establishment you have here.
Yes, bring students by whenever you like.
I can't make any promises. We are going to be leaving on an expedition shortly enough,
Well, then tell the
but
faculty.
perhaps when we return.
Tell the faculty.
Miss Nari, nice to see you here.
Oh, good friend! How are you? It's been, like a little while, yeah? Let's get this guy a drink over here.
As he sits down at one of the tables and begins pulling out his own set of dragon dragon chess pieces.
You've come prepared. Oh, this guy, you just can't get enough of him, can you? She's gonna go sit next to him with a drink in hand for him.
Now, would you like to be chromatic or metallic?
I will be chromatic, why not?
Well, then I believe the first move is yours, Lady Nari.
I will make the first move.
As you just start moving pieces on this chessboard, this conversation begins flowing between the two of you. The librarians have been able to inform us about the many, many, many inquiries you've had, and the number of unanswered questions you might still be researching.
Yes, I've had some downtime here recently, which really just makes my mind wander a bit too much for comfort. So here we are.
Professor Barnaby sent me by in order to help clear up any questions you might still have, as well as to try and reach out for a meeting.
What sort of meeting? Like for what?
Like for meeting you, of course.
Oh, yes, I would. I haven't met him yet. I'd love to meet him.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow.
I thought Nari already met him, so I'm like, wait, what? Sorry.
Perhaps we can see how you fare in this game first. I wouldn't want to waste the professor's time. But while we do, why don't you go ahead and start with some of those questions you have?
Whew, well, okay, it's been quite a night, so just give me a second to get my mind back on track.
Well, the first
start.
that I remember you inquiring about was about the names of the shamans who helped to assist the Durga in building the tomb.
Yes, I
Of the Fang Betrayer.
managed to write a few of those down from memory of what the stone dwarf had said. Can I insight check this guy and make sure he's actually trying to fish for information to give me?
Absolutely.
He's
Go
like,
ahead and roll me an insight check.
23.
It seems as though these questions aren't the reason that he's here for. It's more or less just to pass the time. He seems to have a deeper purpose for being here.
Yes. As much as I would love to discuss the names of the shaman, she's gonna like make
the
her
names
next
I
move.
don't need. Professor's previous expedition, he spoke with some Gruthomi Durga down there who was able to provide quite a tale of sorts. Well, through a series of arcane magics, of course, he never stepped foot into the tomb himself. far too dangerous for one of his know-how. But the team he sent was able to report through a means of arcane scries and communications.
And what were they able to decipher?
Well, the names of the 12 individuals, Anka, Sanura, Asteku, Sakerta, Nasakabu,
I'm gonna interrupt
Sem, and
Yeah, I started to remember the names after I started to look, deeper into my memory after researching. I did get those, but I have a feeling that is not exactly why you are here. Is there something maybe deeper meaning? Perhaps instead of just speaking of names that we both already know? And she's going to make her next chess piece move.
an aggressive move, I see. But you're not wrong. I'm not here simply to gossip. I'm here in order to interview you of sorts. And if you are deemed worthy, then I am to offer you the invitation to meet with the professor on the morrow before we leave for our expedition to the east.
What do you hope to find in the east?
Now then, you say you remember the 12 names. Did you come across how they were slain in the tomb? How they came to be residents there themselves?
Well, that is information I did come across. They actually chose to be there by their own doing, if you would believe it.
Of sorts, I'm sure, but that was mayhaps not their original intention. You see, the individual entombed there was a very powerful man a long time ago by the name of Thravosh. And in his time, when he lived with the Ankaish people, he was known as a great corrupter, one who was able to influence those around him, to compel others to do his own bidding. I'm sure you know the sorts. Anyways,
Yes, I've heard of those things coming from the man named Ravash. Indeed.
yes, there was a disagreement between the Ankaish and the Strider people of the valley, and it was determined that he was the source of this disagreement. And so, in being banished and put to death, he was to be entombed and sealed up and to be forgotten about, erased from the history books of sorts. But it seemed that burying his body was not so simple a task. After speaking with the dwarf, Gruthomi, it seems as though there were complications. Even after they had killed Thravosh, they were lowering his body into the final resting place, and they began living within the tomb, day in, day out, casting the same spells, preparing themselves for the same rituals again and again, in order to make their arcane circles permanent. Thravosh was also clever, you see, as he kind of moves his queen of dragons out onto the board in place. He was by no means dull, and it seems as though he had anticipated such an occurrence. And at some point in time, he had his own shadow severed from his person. And long after his own body was entombed, his shadow took the opportunity to try and free him. It had gone through about 8 of them before they were even able to realize what was going on. The first 8 dropped like flies. The 4 who remained to fight had a difficult struggle ahead of them, for the shadow's influence had already seeped into one of their own and was making his will, forcibly through this new vessel, if you will. The lad was newer to the project, not the most gifted in the arcane talents, but MistHaven did what he was able to. Unfortunately, the corruption seemed too powerful even for him. And as Thravosh's shadowy corruption continued to build and overtake the mind of MistHaven, he started to linger. He began deactivating a number of the traps and inscriptions that were placed around his Thravosh's remains. Clearly with some sort of intent to get to the body. For what purpose, I could not know. It would only be speculating. But it seemed as though his sole purpose was to get to the body of Thravosh, going through as many of his Strider brethren as it took. As devoted as they were in this mission, it seemed that this Thravosh's influence was even more powerful than their own devotions. But in the end, Sanura, the mammoth, was able to pin this shadow into place with the use of his own axe. Unfortunately, there were some complications, and in banishing this shadow to another realm to prevent it from ever returning, they weren't able to get rid of all of it, as it seemed the axe had prevented the shadow from banishment at the point that it was pinned.
His hand still remained.
If the legends could be believed. After all, Durgar are a bit superstitious when it comes to their stories.
This is one story I can tell you is definitely true. And she's going to move the next piece.
Yes, well, after Sanura was able to free MistHaven from the shadow, the corruption remained. And unfortunately, there was nothing to be done for their Strider brethren, but to lock him in the tomb with Thravosh, providing a sort of decoy, if you will, for grave robbers.
What was his name again? Sorry.
The mammoth, Sanura. Or MistHaven, the one who was corrupted. If the dwarf stories are to be believed, it is a place of vile wickedness. And even he seemed jovial at the thought of people trying to proceed past his own traps and the like. It's possible his confidence was well placed, as it seemed that our own party never returned from the depths of the tomb. But what befell them exactly, I'm afraid, is unknown to us. We were hoping that you might be able to fill in some of the details for us.
Yes, I can. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about everything that's happening right now. Oh, okay. Okay. So.
That's a maniacal laugh if I ever heard it.
What my mind is thinking right now. I have like notes everywhere, and then Charles walks in. I'm like, no, don't touch anything. So you say MistHaven was locked away as a decoy because she lost her mind?
For the sake of grace, should they ever make their way into the tomb looking for any artifacts or weapons that Thravosh was known to be buried with, they would find them in a false tomb with a false body. A decoy of sorts.
Give me 2 seconds. 1 second. Okay, sorry, had to put the monster in a different room. Okay, so, well, I would love to fill you in. And did we decide? I just want to make sure he is a definite. Like, can I do another sort of check to see if I would trust him with this kind of information? And also want to do a good look around the room to see who all is in here. You know, make sure we're in like a safer location to discuss important facts.
Letting your insight carry over on him, it seems as though he's here effectively performing an interview on you, it seems, is what you're able to gather. Looking about the room, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
19?
The two red-skinned half-orcs are still here, still kind of lingering nearby that arm wrestling table, but not participating in it. They seem to be looking at the faces of everyone as they walk into the Phoenix Feather Inn and just kind of studying them before returning to their own conversation. Otherwise, everything seems to be business as usual for a tavern.
Okay. Well, then I
The
will.
drinks are flowing heavily. The coin is being exchanged over the bar. Bickerstaff, who looks a little bit excited at the incredible success that you guys are seeing on the grand opening, which can only possibly mean greater success in the future. Like, it is a good day for business.
Okay. Well, then I guess I will feel comfortable enough sharing information with this kid here. But I'll do it in a little bit more of a hushed tone, being very wary of anyone who gets too close. And I will stop talking immediately if I kind of get that sense. Mm, we aren't being watched magically. I don't think I'll be able to tell that. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. So I will put my trust in this kid and I will tell him the secrets that I know. So basically, you knew exactly the how and the why that the tomb is there, which is super incredible. Those were questions I definitely had. You would be happy to know that me and my group not only made it into more rooms than the previous adventurers had, but we made it out to tell the stories, which is why I was able to tell you that I, in fact, had an encounter with the shadow hand of Thravash himself, and he, in fact, possessed me for a time, and I attempted to release his body from his tomb, but we fought it off once again, and we were able to pin his hand back down to where he was no longer an issue. And then we found this decoy MistHaven that you spoke of, which we were unsure of who that was. Um, and we have even gained uh, the swords. What are they called? I can never remember the name of those.
Kopesh?
Kopesh swords. I can never remember the name of Kopesh for some reason. All the notes I have. We did, in fact, get the Kopesh from the MistHaven decoy Thravash in there, along with being able to dispel several of the glyphs that were in the tomb. Unfortunately, in our endeavors, there was an alarm that was set off when I was possessed, which caused a flooding of the tomb, so I'm not sure how long it will be flooded for us to maybe continue our adventures in there. But I do have a question for you.
Yes.
When MistHaven was entombed in her icy sarcophagus, you say that she was mad. Did she have contact with the outside world still, though?
Not that I know of. Hard to say for certain, though. It was a very long time ago.
If she did, who do you think she would want to contact, since her mind was, as you say, ruined? It's not the right word, but that's the word I want to use.
Well, most arcane casters' abilities, at least at the academy, can be limited depending on distance as well as specific location of your target for conversation. There are other means such as scrying and the like, but those are only one-way communications. Why? Did she perform some sort of spells or the like that you think she might have spoken to someone?
Yes, give me 1 minute. And Nari's going to move her next chess piece, and she's going to stand up, and she's going to go over to Agrimar. Dear friend, I was hoping I could see that sending stone that we got from the decoy Thrabosh. I am speaking with my good friend Preston over there. We are discussing really important matters that went on down there regarding the information and stuff that we ended up getting flooded. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of put her hand out.
I pull out the sending stone, put it in her hand, and before I let go, Nari, make a good decision.
You see your
I let it
ears
go.
kind of hurt and twitch. Yes, very, yes. A good decision, yes. And she's going to clutch it and walk over to Preston. You see this, and she's going to sit back down. This is what we found in her possession, and her very dying words literally haunt my dreams. They say, I am sorry, master, I failed you. And she set it into this stone that we believe to be magical connection to someone else.
Interesting.
Isn't it though?
And have you been able to determine what this creature is on the stone?
Well, this is really my first time being able to inspect it. Agramar's been a little bit skeptical of letting anyone touch it. You know, he's a little more of the,
Right.
yeah,
He's
you know,
cautious.
very,
Should
very
be.
cautious. With good reason after what happened with the Berserker Axe, but yes, very cautious.
Maybe allow me to take a step back. You say you recovered this sword and the shield. Where did you hear about these artifacts?
Well, it actually happened by reading some books in the library, your library, and it piqued my interest. I was here in MistHaven for other reasons, but I read about the tomb of the Uthlok, and you know, I realized it was in the Grey District, and I figured I would check it out for myself and see what it was about. And boy, let me tell you, it's what it is about for sure. And it is a secret I have not completely unlocked yet. But basically, I know that in that tomb is where I discovered this lovely shield. And she's gonna like point to the shield that she has. And it had sarcophagi, however you say it properly and smartly. With these missing elements to them, which one of them was the kopesh, and the other one is a staff that I am looking for now. And basically, we just heard stories from there. So I saw what it looked like, and then I believe I was speaking to the Striders, and they spoke of a fanged. I don't remember exactly how they described it. A fanged betrayer who wielded Kopesh flaming swords. And from there, I just started to look up more information. And then I spoke to someone who said that he was buried like a bug and he should be stepped on for the rest of eternity, which led me to the foot, which led me to the tomb underneath the foot.
Does this staff you're looking for look anything like this? And he pulls out a parchment with a small piece of art on it. And it looks very similar to that outline that you saw whenever you had that lantern illuminating the top of the sarcophagi.
And you see all of Nari's hair just like stand up real quick. Oh, yes, that looks very similar to what I remember.
Then I think you might wish to continue this conversation with Professor Barnaby. Meet him outside of the North Bridge tomorrow morning. Around noon, we're going to be heading out, and I think he would very much like to talk to you before that.
Might I ask why you are headed to the east?
I believe that should be a conversation between you and the professor. But for what it's worth, I think you've done very well here. And he just kind of reaches forward and sets down the king piece on his own side. And he outstretches his arm. Very well done.
She will shake his hand very firmly and excitedly. The pleasure has really been all mine.
And by the way, if that small friend of yours is around, do give her a good insult for me.
Oh, fuck him.
I will do my worst. She'll wink at him, but definitely won't say anything to Kevin's face.
Lovely place you have here.
It is our grand opening today. Thank you very much. I don't live here normally, but I was invited in, and so now I call it my place too. I like it.
I see.
It's how cats work.
Confusing.
I'm so excited. I have information on the staff now. Oh, and I have the sending stones I can play with. Oh, today is a good day.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll be making my way back to the academy to report to the professor. And he stands up, leaving the set of chess pieces on the table as he does so. He says, a gift from the academy for the opening of this parlor. Best of luck to you in this endeavor. And he makes his way, turning around and starts heading towards the door.
He is my best friend now. Like, okay. This was great. Okay. Yeah, Nari's just super happy. She's gonna go over and look at the chessboard and see, was she close to winning or was he definitely winning?
Roll me an intelligence check.
At 18.
You were probably about to win.
That's why he left. It's cool. I'm really good at everything. Whew! I gotta get a drink. I am so happy.
You make your way towards the bar. Meanwhile, back outside, Rafal, you can see Yannick approaching with his brother Bale, clearly in the midst of some sort of conversation between the two of them.
Oh, Yannick, you seem to be better. It's good to have you back.
Yes. Is that witch dead? Where's Zephyr? Where's Phelan?
Phelan is probably at the Seraph Manor. She has chosen to dedicate her entire time to the duties of being a crypt keeper.
Where's your big fellow, Agramar?
He's inside, along with some of our new companion. One of our new companions. Two of our new companions. How much of
I
your
see the
ordeal
ins-
do you remember?
Not much. Chasing the witch out the door. And
It was quite
spiders.
heroic.
Window.
You'll be happy to know that she has been dealt with. Or so we believe.
So I did kill her.
No, you did not. But she did return to the city and was dealt with.
Oh. What is our next step for saving the city? What
Well,
are we going to do?
We've made large strides in that regard. Much of the filth of Corbin Reed has been washed away, and some sense of normalcy has returned to the city.
Very good. We'll continue our watch.
Do you
Bill
plan
has
on
our back.
returning to the guards, or are you going to stick around with the Order of the Phoenix?
Have not received a new order. My order is to assist the Phoenix.
Well, we're always happy to have you.
So does Bale not pass along the orders for Yannick?
Yeah, I would imagine Bill would have told him that on the way.
He's got guard duty tomorrow.
Yeah. He's not going to tell that to RuPaul. No.
All right.
Well, come on in. We'll have a drink to celebrate.
I'll be in later. I have my rounds.
I thought you just said you didn't have any guard duties.
I still have my responsibility to the city. Until otherwise, I'll be there.
Okay, I'm confused. So are you going to go, like, back to the Citadel, or are you staying here?
The Citadel has requested me to remain on duty. That's where I'll be.
I can understand that. Your duty was to stop Corbin Reed, and that's been done. Well, I'm glad to see you back. Have a good night. Bale, are you staying?
I have my duties elsewhere. Please rescue my brother from his duties. Find something for him to do.
Okay, I'm confused. Was that Bale or Yannick?
That was Bill. I was trying to get different voices. Y'all are better at that.
Okay, so Ted, now I'm confused as fuck, man.
Alright, so Bill.
So are both of your characters leaving the party right now?
No. Bill
But yes.
has been Bill is trying to go serve the 3. And Yannick has been ordered to do shit duty.
Mm-hmm.
You need to find a way to talk to the missus to get him back. That way he can rejoin the group.
Well, he could just quit.
He could, but would that be Yannick?
So I'm confused, Ted. What's your goal here?
Just say you have another job, and Yannick will be
No,
Person
Ted,
minor
I'm
to-
just explicitly asking you which character you want to play.
I'm playing Yannick.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, just find an excuse for her to let him go.
Well, that's not Rafal's job. That's your job.
God damn it.
Well,
All right.
hey, for now, why don't you both of you come in and we'll have a drink together? At least one before you go. We go our separate ways.
And as far as Ryan's concerned, I would say Bell would have convinced Yannick that Rafal is the true path. And Yannick being the true soldier that he is, he'd like climb on board and he's my king and I'm going to make him king.
All right.
So do they both come in for a drink?
Of course, because Bell
All right.
has one more day before he has to go back. All right.
Rafal will lead
Yannick.
you in and introduce and just announce to everybody. Everybody! Yannick is back. And he has regained his full memories.
Who?
This is the brain dead dude that's been hanging around the inn since you got here.
He has a brain now. This is so exciting. Are you going to
No
not
longer
take
vegetable.
baths now?
What?
This is Yannick, my brother. He is a
Oh.
great soldier of the city and has provided many, many, many help toward the city. He even chased down the witch that tried to kill our queen. I'm surprised you have not heard of this. He is a great
Mm.
hero.
Nope.
I'm going to give everything I have to bring him back. And I've donated myself to the Temple of the Three. And he will help y'all.
Go ahead and roll me a deception check, Bale.
Okay, thank God, because I want to insight that, because that's just
I know.
a base lie.
Not totally.
Yes, it is!
Ooh.
The Temple of the Three had nothing to do with you healing this man.
You're going to work for.
I wanted
Severin.
it to be the Temple of the Three.
Wait, are
Doesn't
we
mean
all?
it was.
It doesn't matter. I wanted that.
Well, I can't roll for insight. I don't know where it is. Hold on.
Of course, it's never -1.
He's
Oh, that's Yannick.
clear.
Wait,
That's
that's
Bale.
Yannick.
No,
That
that's
says
Bill.
Bale on it.
Oh, it is Bill. All right, never mind.
He's clearly lying about something.
Bale, I've gotten to know you pretty well. And over
You
the last
bullshitting.
few weeks, you've been trying and trying with the temple to find a solution. What did they finally find for you as the solution to help Yannick?
Okay, they didn't find anything that could help us. I went to a nefarious source, but they granted me my brother back, so I'm going to fulfill it.
So you asked Brodrin for help?
Much more nefarious, unfortunately. But
Bale,
so
you're
you
gonna have
went
to
to
speak
Daldrick then?
I went to the purple.
To the Requisitors.
Yes, those bastards. But
What
they
did
gave me my
ask of you,
brother
Bale?
back. I gave them my loyalty. They give me my brother. But I promise you, he'll be worth 2 to me.
While I'm glad to have Yannick back, that still doesn't change the fact that you've doomed us all.
Can you say dead, Charles?
You can end me now or let me walk out. But at least my brother lives.
I understand that sacrifice, Bale, but you've put us in a difficult position. You see, with us saving a certain someone's life, your involvement in that definitely,
Okay, what'd you do different?
yes.
I say bullshit.
The Requisitors are not to be trusted, Bale, and we just took freed somebody from their grasp, and they don't know it was us, but you would be able to tell them it was us. Where do your loyalties lie? With the Order of the Phoenix, or now with the Requisitors? You cannot serve 2 masters, and from what it sounds like, you've pledged your allegiance to them, which leaves us in a bit of a problem.
Well, my brother walks and lives. I hope his arrow finds my heart.
Or fall turns to the rest of the party. What do you want to do?
Kill him. Kill him.
My voice in
gonna
my head is
cast
telling me to
divination.
kill him.
Agrimar kind of is still standing by the door, just kind of hearing all this, and he casts divination, and he asks the 3, would the greater good benefit from Bale's demise now,
Oh my god, Bill's gonna be such an asshole. Kill him.
or would the greater good be served better by letting him live?
I have an idea before he gets his answer from that. If Bale is willing to hear me out here. I know that you have promised your servitude to this Severus guy that all of us hate, so I don't know why you would do that when he tries to kill 12-year-old girls, but that's besides the point, it's done now. What if you say you're working for him, but you kind of keep us in the loop of little things he tells you, you know, like double agent type stuff? But I might be able to read your mind and then you're fucked. But then you're dead and it's not my
Bingo.
problem.
Yeah, I was totally
Agrimar.
ready to go all in, all evil, but
As this
that would be
conversation is continuing around you, you hear this whisper in the back of your mind. 3 separate voices, all in unison. Even the fates can be twisted from second chances.
Yeah, we've already done that, haven't we?
Bale, I have a question.
Yep.
If, let's say, the Inquisitors hand you a knife and tell us to slit all of our throats in our sleep, would you do it? Where do your loyalties lie?
I want to inside check his answer.
Also, just for note, if they're called the Requisitors.
Oh, Requisitors, sorry.
It's okay. it took
Drunk a
all
little
of us
bit
minute
too
to-
much here. Whoops. Sorry.
All right. One of my faults is money. If there was money involved,
I
Well,
mean,
there's
to
not.
be fair,
You
You did-
agreed so that Yannick would come back.
and to be fair, he did lock me in a tomb once, and I nearly died from it. So I don't think he would really have too much of a problem trying to
So
kill
really,
me.
Ted, I think this is just a question you have to ask yourself.
What would Bale do?
If you had to slit all of our throats.
all right, Bell, for once in his life, and I literally mean once, he wants his brother back.
His brother's already
So-
back.
You already got that.
No, but his brother to be back without him fucking shit up and being a bad influence or whatever.
So how does he answer Kevin's question?
He would not. He would lay down.
So Bale lays down in the middle of the tavern.
You son of a
Is this
bitch.
like an elf thing?
No, just kind of like a bro thing.
Just kind of lay down?
Ted, what are you trying to say, man?
I'm just saying. Bell had a, I don't know, epiphany. He's like, all right, I'm a shit. He sees what his brother has done. If he could just lay down everything,
Yeah, we get it, Ted. You would give anything to have him back, and you've done that. But the question is now, does that mean, now that you've gotten what you wanted, that if Severus DeVere ordered you to come after the rest of the Order of the Phoenix, would you do it?
yes, of course he would.
And does he say this out loud? Sorry. That was a bit.
Yeah.
No, that's
No.
a great question.
That's a great question.
So you would come after us?
Yes, I would. I gave him a promise.
Quick question. How many people are in the bar still?
There's about 20 people other than you guys.
And Bell readies his bow.
Wait, Bale does?
Yeah,
To shoot who?
an aggressor.
Nobody's
So
moving
you
yet.
take your
Bale
bow out
is being
and
the
pretend
aggressor.
and act like the rest of us are going to kill you?
Yeah, I just said I would kill you if I was ordered to.
You just told them you would kill them, and now you're drawing your bow.
Yes. I mean, that's what
So
a
what's
person
Yannick
would do.
doing about this, as his brother's visibly threatening the party that Yannick is a part of?
Oh my God, that's such a torment.
These are your decisions, Ted.
All right,
Your
Yannick is
actions have
backing away.
consequences.
Yannick is backing away with his hands on his head, like, what the hell's going on?
Bale, put your bow down. We're not threatening you. Not yet. Put the bow down.
What do you mean yet?
Well, you have not made any aggressive moves. Put it down. We are only talking as friends.
I will aim it down, but I still have the bow in my hand.
Great. Now, how about you sit down and we have a civilized conversations about the grievous error that you just put everyone in, including your brother.
Valid.
Do you not realize that you not only put us in danger, the Phoenix Feather, you also put a 12-year-old girl at stake who was innocent. You fought with us. I barely know you, but everyone seems to have a good rapport around you. And if these Requisitors have decided to kill us, who's to say that they won't turn around and kill your brother as well, along with you floating down a river?
But do you not realize my brother is standing next to me?
Your brother is standing
Because
next
I
to you
gave.
as of right now. But who's to say that they won't backstab you? I'm sorry.
But
No, that's a valid point. They agreed to help you bring your brother back. They never said they wouldn't kill him for his association with us once they find out.
he is there because I gave my word.
And how much do words mean to us? You and I both know words don't mean shit.
I guess we're all kind of curious as to what would happen if you didn't show up to your meeting tomorrow. How quickly would they take away Yannick's life? And then, basically what they're saying is how quickly would they turn on you without even thinking about it? And are you willing
Let's
to
think
do the
about
same
how
to
the
us?
Requisitors react to things.
Explosions, stabbing, killing, murder, screams. Very
Bale, can
subtle.
you describe what they did to bring Yannick back?
It was a light. There was no ceremony. I asked for forgiveness and gave them my service and all of my skills, and he was back.
Can I do some sort of insight check to see if I would understand the kind of ritual that would be?
From the details given, it's gonna be a higher DC. Like if he's willing to give up more, it might make it easier for you guys to pick it out.
I would have spilled.
More details, Ben?
So you describe the stone and the ritual and everything like that.
Exactly. I would have spilled it
Okay.
because
All right.
I'm like
That's
broken.
very different from what you just said.
Yeah, Agrimar wants to know what actually happened to see if he can provide some insight into this ritual.
So those
If I'm tied to it.
proficient can roll me either an Arcana or let me double check this one.
Religion, maybe.
I could do religion or even history would be better because I would have read about something like this in history books. That's my angle.
So if you're proficient, you can make a roll with Arcana, Medicine, or Religion.
17 for religion for Nari.
29 Arcana for...
Wait, what were the options?
Medicine,
Arcana?
religion, or Arcana.
I am proficient in none of those.
I got a natural 20, 29.
Agrimar, this is a very unusual process he's talking about. Nari, it's all Greek to you. You don't understand any of it. As far as you've come to understand magic, there's a whole lot of specifics required, and almost always verbal, material, and somatic components of some variation. Agrimar, when he says the word Heartstone, there's just this light bulb that goes off in your head about these demons known as night hags that will effectively haunt your dreams and slowly eat away at who you are, devouring your soul while you sleep. And some things are starting to click for you, like you remember Bale waking up screaming on multiple occasions, and it's starting to make more sense. Like he has been haunted by night hags this whole time, and when this Heartstone was pressed against him, it effectively removed the effects that they had already enacted on him, as well as curing him from this influence that had completely blanked his mind.
Gotcha.
But it seems as though it was something that was done to him by the same entity that would have this Heartstone.
So I know Nari doesn't know, but you're saying like they did it to him so they could take it away from him type thing?
Uh-huh.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And Agrimar doesn't know, but the rest of the party should have known that who Severus summoned at the execution were night hags.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that part. Because I saw them and they were not fun.
And
And
at least now you
became,
know
like, really-
what those entities were that he summoned.
And Agrimar relays this. Bale, I know that you have given your word to the Requisitors, and they have done a great deed by your conscience. But they set this up from the beginning. They had one of their agents of evil come in and destroy your brother's mind while he laid in his sleep. The reason why he came and attacked all of us was because of them. Now, I don't think that they can take away what they have given him, but you going and working for them will bring upon more harm to your brother. They've already done it once, and what's to say that they won't extort you every waking minute to keep
Bale.
that from happening to your brother again?
I'm not sure how much your word is worth, seeing as you gave it to me that you would help with my ascent to the throne. Dealt a crippling blow to that with this deal that you've made, so the only thing I could ask of you is that you do not report to the Requisitors on the morrow, but instead you slip out of MistHaven under the cover of darkness and never return.
While this is all happening, can I start ushering people out of the bar?
Yeah, in the background, Bickerstaff has noticed this confrontation starting, and he's made the call for last call and starting to hand out a couple of keys to rooms to people who look a little bit more inebriated, helping them upstairs and others outside, as he's starting to close up shop for the day, seeing things starting to spiral a bit.
Agrimar is also going to pull out the wand of Detect Magic and cast Detect Magic, just to be doubly sure there's nothing on Yannick or Bale at the moment.
As you let loose this pulse of energy from your person, the divine aura radiates from the wand and begins illuminating a number of items across your party members. But there doesn't appear to be that orb present that was a few weeks ago, before you guys entered the foot dungeon.
Okay. And nothing specifically on Yannick's person or Bale's person that would relay a spell, not an item.
Like divination magic.
Not that you're detecting, no.
Okay.
Effectively, no. There's no magical aura radiating off of them like that.
So what do you say, Bale?
Okay, I'll move forward. I won't move against you. And if you say it's true, my actions won't go against my brother. I'll see what I can provide from within.
What?
Double agent.
Do
That's
not
not
go
what
to
I
the
asked you,
Inquisitors.
dude.
Leave.
Are you even listening?
Yeah, you said to what you say. You
Yeah, what did I say before that, Ted?
asked what I was going to do.
Oh, I asked you
to leave the city under the cover of darkness and never return.
Yeah. You know what? Bell would do that. Bell would hop on a pirate ship and escape out like he did in his youth.
Maybe Cookie knows the perfect pirate ship for him to get off on.
In that, he'll go ask Brodrin for a escape route.
I mean, you could just leave. I don't think there's any reason why you can't.
Yeah, he's got plenty of outs. So, yeah, Bell will duck out.
As
He'll tell
Bale
his
turns
brother.
heel and goes to leave the inn.
Wait,
Yeah, no.
Bale. Bale, I have one I just
Yes,
have one
Kevin?
last thing to say to you. And Kevin is just going to spit at his shoes and then just turn around and walk away.
I expect that. And Bell will dart out.
The second the door closes, Rafal turns to the rest of the party and says, I don't trust him. We should follow him.
All of us, or like just one of us? Because all of us is kind of obvious following him.
Somebody should follow him.
I'll follow him.
I think you're sneakier than I am, so I'm gonna vote for you to follow him too. I could try, but sometimes my fur gives me away. That's not too. I have a +7, so that's not too bad, I guess.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Ryan,
Well-
is there any way that Cookie can follow Bale?
She could try.
Cookie overhears this, and she turns into an owl and keeps an eye on him with flight.
Roll stealth.
That depends. Bale, what are you trying to do?
Well, I'm totally stealthing out.
Right, but stealthing out to where?
I'm headed toward the docks, but
Towards the closest docks?
yeah, Bell will be just disturbed and just upset. But yeah, he's ready to go.
Alright, so Bale kind of storms off into the night, heading towards the docks. Meanwhile, back at the inn, how's Yannick handling this?
Yannick went
He's
to
finally back to
the
consciousness. He's able to talk. He's able to express his mind after nearly a month of being unable to communicate with those around him.
yeah, I wish it was a month. Bickerstaff, what's going on here? It looks all different. It looks great, in fact.
Yes, Yannick, we were able to, after our success of protecting the Queen, large in part thanks to you, we were able to upgrade the inn a bit and get it into working condition.
And that she witch, is she gone?
As I understand it, yes.
And you guys were even able to pull in 240 gold pieces just on this opening night. Opening day.
You know, I really didn't want to bring it up with everything going on, but Bickerstaff, I'm pretty sure you owe me my prize for winning the poll contest thing. A ring of fire or something.
Ring of fire detection. Yes! And he reaches down to the floor where it was still sitting after nobody scooped it up, picks it up and puts it in the palm of your hand, and he tells you that this ring will glow whenever it's placed in fire.
And who's this kitty cat?
That's really cool.
Yannick, this is Nari. She's a recent friend, actually, of your brother's.
I knew your brother probably better than you did. It's okay, no big.
Well, I thank you, and I'm sorry at the same time.
Yeah, it's okay. We have our past. You tried to kill me a few times now, but we're even now. So maybe I'll try and kill you in the future or something. It'll be fun.
Well,
Not really. I
I'm-
feel like you might be a more serious kind of guy, but no, I'm not really gonna try and kill you. I'm a nice person. Don't worry. And she's gonna put this ring on her finger, and go and put her hand close to the fire.
You put your
Well,
hand
I'm not-
close to the fire and nothing happens.
It's only when it's in fire. So that's useful. If I'm on fire, guys, you'll know because the ring will go
If
off.
you're on fire, your ring will tell you that you're on fire.
That is really cool. Super helpful. But it looks pretty, so I'll still wear it.
Rafal's got that trumpet that as long as he's blowing through the trumpet, he remains invisible.
But the trumpet
Does-
makes noise so they know where he's at
Yep.
while he's invisible.
These were some cheaper trinkets that Bickerstaff was able to get together for
I
taverns
like
and
it.
dwarves.
I think it's
Yes,
cool.
yes, sir.
Hey, Ted, did we ever split the gold that we made when I tried to stab your hands?
You should
It's
have.
just occurred to
Would have
me.
split that before he left, knowing Kevin.
Okay, that's good.
Well, she is following him, so she could just stab him in the night and steal all of it, and no one would know.
Hey,
Yeah, from what I
mean,
heard,
like,
Well, everyone
Nick,
followed
she
him.
got it all.
the player Nick would love that, but the lawful good paladin Rafal had to come up with a solution that didn't involve that.
Wait, I'm still following him, right? Even though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Effectively,
I got it.
Bale is now an NPC as he has left the party.
Yeah, Bell's,
Oh, wait.
as much as he wants to be an asshole, yeah, he's gone.
Took his items and equipment with him.
You could have left your gold with Yannick. Instead, you took it all.
No, he gave all his gold to Yannick. He felt bad for what he did.
You didn't have a chance. You
I
walked in
remember
and said, "I'm gonna
I
kill
remember
everybody
Bale
left."
storming out before even getting a drink with his brother.
Oh no, it was a long text. Must have got lost.
You know, if it wasn't for the 20 people inside, as soon as you said, "Oh, I'd slit all your guys' throat," as some guy told me to, I would have stabbed you. Gotta be honest.
Oh,
I think
no,
all of
I
us
mean,
wanted to.
if I was a different alignment, that probably would have been the result in some fashion, but I am not.
Nari's
Yeah,
used
I
to
don't
Bale
think you would have
stabbing
got Bell.
back, so it was nothing new.
That's okay. No, Bell left all his stuff with Yannick, and he dipped out. Gave the deuces.
So what about the items that Yannick was already missing or had picked off of him?
Literally, Bell is going to try to be part of the three, even though he gave his
He says while
Purpose.
seeking out a pirate ship.
even though he gave his purpose to something else. Bell's not worried about it. Bell can be Bell. Trust me, Bell can get anything back.
We'll find out in the future, perhaps. As for now, Kevin and Zephyr follow Bale over to the west docks, a little bit further down in Corbin Reed's old abandoned fishery. And the docks are pretty much sparse this late in the evening. And there's a couple of ships, and Kevin and Zephyr are able to watch Vale go up the loading ramp of some of these ships before making his way back down, up another one, and then back down. But having left all of his coin and items with his brother, he's lost a significant number of barter chips. And so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But you can see he continues this search before eventually he does not descend down one of those ramps.
I'm sure his secrets will get him through whatever.
Does the boat look familiar to Cookie?
Roll me a perception check, Cookie.
His blackness.
Don't make it a slaver. Don't make it a slaver.
Oh, it's going to be a slaver.
It's a dwarf ship.
Owl's perception. Plus 8, 20 total.
It looks as though it's a fishing ship. Nothing incredibly remarkable or familiar about it to Cookie.
Yeah. Jeez, Ted, we were having such a good time.
But as the night draws to a close, is there anything you guys would like to do before tomorrow?
Well, since you mentioned it, I have this sending stone I got from Agrabah. And I want, after everyone's gone to bed and, you know, she's in her room, you know, unless there's more stuff we're doing before then.
I mean, we have 15 minutes left in the session. If you want to get to your noon meeting tonight, it's either that or the sending stones, probably.
I feel like I'll probably be talking a lot longer than 15 minutes at the noon meeting. So I'm gonna do the sending stones.
All right.
It probably won't come from anything.
Here in the back of your head, make good decisions.
It'll be a good decision. Mari's just going to look at the sending stone and she's going to whisper to it, "Hello."
Are you doing this just downstairs in the tavern?
No,
or up
she's
in
gonna
your
be in
room?
her room, like, you know, no one's around her.
Hang
All
on,
right.
or something.
So Nari, you just kind of ready yourself in your room, spark up a small fire in the hearth, and just kind of focus on this stone, turning it over again and again in your hands, inspecting it. You let this whisper, you speak this whisper into the ear of this creature on the face of it, where the tile itself sinks in as it is carved identical to an ear canal. And where that hole in the middle goes, you have no way of knowing because it doesn't come out the other side. But eventually this kind of dreamy haze begins to sink in. And you're slowly coming to lulling over this sensation that is still lingering in your mouth from that last pie that you had. And it's not just the taste now, but there's something else about it that seems strange. As you find yourself focusing upon the dancing light and shadows radiating off of the fireplace, and you find yourself almost entranced by them as you lull yourself into a deep sleep. And you find yourself vibrantly woken up, choking on this fluid, and you are back in that deep water once again. In the far distance, there's this speck of green light that seems to be moving. And it's kind of bobbing up and down, but slowly creeping closer towards you. And just watching hold of this light, this sickening sensation begins to fill through you. Noticeably different than your gag reflex when you were eating those pies. Just this almost an instinct. You're much more animalistic abilities taking over, and you just have this bad feeling as you find yourself here drifting in this bottomless void of water. And you just start moving and swimming. You're fighting against the urge to just gasp for breath, to risk swallowing whatever substance this is and drowning. And you begin just hearing this beating of your own heartbeat filling your ears. Just as you are just fighting against this expansive void of nothingness in the water, as that green light continues to bob up and down, closer and closer. You find yourself fighting and struggling against this current. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
A 20.
You are struggling, and you are beginning to feel that burning sensation in the depths of your lungs as they are just screaming for air. And there is none anywhere around you. You are just you are forced to press on, continuing to swim in this void towards those green lights, as it is the only point of anything that you can see. And your heartbeat just begins pounding in your ears. And you are struggling, and your arms are flailing slower and slower as that green light's getting closer and closer. And eventually, you just have to breathe. And as you take this large gasp of this watery fluid, it fills your throat with this icy, cool sensation that begins flowing through your body from the inside. And this choking struggle begins, as this is not oxygen. You find yourself drowning deep underwater. Your heartbeat pounding against every inch of your body. And as your own vision begins to fade on that floating green light that is trickling closer and closer towards you, you catch sight of a familiar-looking being. He looks to be half-elven, with long, dark hair. And he seems like somebody you know, but that is not what is important to you right now. What is important to you right now is just this screaming for oxygen that your lungs are feeling. As your vision just kind of blacks out, you can only hear that thrumming of your heart in your ears. That Nari. And you find yourself waking up, soaked through to the bone. Your bed sheets are completely soaked. And I think that's probably where we're going to be picking up next session, with Nari having overslept the next morning.
Well, that
Half
took a
elf,
certain
dark
time.
hair, familiar. Is that Bale? Yannick Bale looking?
Tough to tell the difference between the two.
But that's like the look of
Very
it.
much, yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry. When my mic or my headphones cut out for about a couple of minutes, and that was when Bale was going down into a ship. Do we know what kind of ship it was, or what happened?
He went into a fishing ship
All right.
and effectively didn't come back out. So you can assume that he got passage on that ship. Or he got murdered on that ship, a fisherman. So
Oh, that would be a relief.
maybe he got murdered by fish. But effectively, Kevin...
Why it would be a good thing for Bale to be dead?
Bell is a good guy. He just saved his brother.
Threatening the
we
lives
did.
of all of his party members.
Yeah.
He made a pact with the devil.
Including threatening the life of his brother. So you saving your brother's life remains to be seen.
But he did tell the devil, or he assumes the devil, his brother's twice him. So he believes in his mind he will make up for Bell and then some.
That's great for Yannick, but what Bale did was seriously scummy, dude.
Bell is coming.
No, this is Nick telling Ted what you just did was seriously frustrating, man.